Funny thing is that it always works unless I stop. Then it never works. So it always works as long as I'm making it work.
Welcome to the Bass and Brews podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
Row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 I'm gonna pee. Ho!
Man, I'm glad that you're on cue on that. Can you do me a favor and not touch the fucking intro music when I'm trying to do it, Paul?
I didn't touch it, bitch. I didn't do anything to the intro music. My hands were not on this. The only thing I had was the unmute button ready to go for when the music ended. I hope everybody can hear me tonight because apparently people could not hear me before, but now it sounds bad because every time I say a B or a P, I can hear the in the background, and that shit's unprofessional as fuck. And if there's anything in Bass and Brews that we are, it is professional.
Yep, nope, that's right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of your favorite weekly distraction from High Quality Podcast. What's going to be awesome tonight, though, is we have somebody who actually...
High quality podcast.
I said podcast. Anyways, we have somebody that actually runs a high-quality podcast. So I've got my notebook out. It's going to be great.
Like literally,
I don't know about that.
Literally, this everybody that listens to Bass and Brews knows Serious Angler Podcast. This guest tonight, this man, Adam, brought the Serious to Serious Angler. I mean, before they were just the Angler Podcast. They had Serious in the name, but until he came on, he brought the serious side of it.
He did, and
Alex, do you even
really
know
excited.
Do you even know
I thought we were
what
having,
the name of his podcast is?
Yeah, it's Business from the Back of a Bass Boat.
From the back of the boat.
I got close. Well, so to be honest, Paul was like, hey, we've got somebody super cool from Serious Angler. And I was like, well, it can't be Bailey. So who could it be?
Number one, not him. So.
Yeah, it's not him. I mean, my direct relation and from what I've understood is that he drove down the reputation of the Serious Angler show so bad with his spinach comment that he had to bring you in for that.
Hey, I don't think Adam knows that, so let's not lead him into a bad question. And
gonna get
anybody that's listening tonight that listened to the episode that dropped last week, you'll see that I am back into my regular form of the Jabberhammer.
Yes.
Because apparently what the fans want to hear is not what Alex wants me to be on this podcast. So go fuck yourselves if you don't like it.
Yeah, I never said it. Okay, that was the fans that said they wanted you to stop interrupting. All right. And guess what? The fans were wrong.
Happened? They're upset that you were interrupting?
Yeah,
well,
it's kind of a running joke.
Well, Adam,
we'll find out
obviously
tonight.
Don't listen to the podcast, which we don't care about because we've got more important people that listen to the podcast. But, some reviews that we've got on Apple Podcasts. Matter of fact, y'all go leave us a 5-star review and then write the worst absolute review you can, but make sure it's 5 stars.
I was going to say, you guys have 5 stars on every rating. What are you talking about?
But look at those comments.
You got to read the comments. That's the problem.
Also, you guys can head over to the newly rebranded Bass and Brews podcast YouTube channel. Give us a like, follow, all that other fucking YouTube horse shit that you have to do. It'd be great. I see lately that you guys are watching more over there. That's fantastic. You can see our beautiful mugs, or at least me and Adam's beautiful mug tonight, not Jabber's. Jabber's facial hair looks so bad lately. It looks like that old homeless guy, like the sketchy one who like reeks of Michelob Ultra. He looks like that guy's nutsack.
I will say this. Tonight's episode not only has a real professional on with Adam Deacon, but he is a handsome motherfucker. I'll tell you what, y'all. If you're not watching you at least need to go watch a few minutes of it and look how handsome this guy is. I mean,
Dude.
he's apparently 6 foot, which I think he gave himself at least 3 or 4 inches.
Not true.
He's slender, and he is a good looking fella. I mean,
I just figured it out.
He might be the prettiest person to ever been on this podcast besides Alex.
Hey,
Oh my
I
God.
just figured it out. 1, 2 comments. Yeah, he does beat out Cupcake Coley just a little bit. But 2, I see now why Bailey brought him on. They had to bring up that, that female listener angle. So they brought Adam on.
We had to bring it in.
Right?
Oh
They
my
brought it
God.
in. And Bailey just texted me. He said since Adam's been on the show, they now have a 98% female listener rate. And they only listen to the show on mute.
Boom.
So I don't get it, but
Here's what's great is like Adam and I have texted a few times. We've been on a podcast with Serious Angler a few times together. We've never had much conversation, and we have already dragged him through some mud and jumped on him, and like it's going to be a great time. And so far he's drinking, and I have been on one episode where Adam was drinking. He's drinking tonight, so I know this is going to be a good one because he's going to let loose. He's probably going to cuss tonight. I feel it.
Oh man, no, those shows that you're talking about, where we have a not so serious angler show, or it's a fantasy fishing show where we're in a group together with friends. Those are my favorite shows, right? Like, yeah, the Business from the Bass Boat, for the most part, it's a fairly serious show. I mean, we screw off every once in a while, but it's for the most part, it's fairly serious. But I'm still just a good old boy that likes to drink and hang out sometimes, and so it's a good time with a bunch of people.
listen,
Well, good
dude,
luck
I'll let you take that name. You start an off show, right? It's just a 30-minute show, business from the back of the bass boat, and you just curse like Carlin the whole time. You figure out a way to do a Patreon to have strippers in the background. Like that is the move right there. Like, remember back in the day, Howard Stern had like a pay-per-view channel. You could like, Adam, you're probably too young for that. But
I know who Howard Stern is. I know what
I know who he is.
So you
He
used to have
says
a
I know
pay-per-view.
who he is.
He used to have a channel. It was like $10-15 a month, and you could actually see what was going on. It was so. I think that's your $1 million idea. You're welcome. I'll take like 5%. Not a big deal. I'll take it up front though as soon as we're done with the show.
Right. Totally.
Alex Lowe's taking it up front.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Hey, Alex, did you show Amandy that TikTok that I sent you?
Yeah, my wife's not going to do that. Fucking okay, Paul. I'm in the middle of my goddamn child's fucking soccer game. Excuse me. And Paul texts me and he goes, "Hey, have Amandy do this. Sarah won't." And I know for goddamn sure Paul didn't ask his wife. And what it's. Go ahead, Paul. Did you ask her?
Hell no, I knew the answer to that question. That's why I sent it to you.
Exactly. So I was like,
trying to help a friend out.
So it's me next to my wife. On the other side of me are my in-laws at my child's game. And I didn't look at it first because I was like, it's probably something about the mail because my wife's a mail lady. And I pull up the TikTok and no, it's a lady who's got googly eyes covering her front bits. And that's sticking through a cutout in a ghost sheet over her whole body. And she starts shaking them around and the eyes are going all over the place.
Show it, Alex. Show it. You can pull it up. Hey,
you keep talking.
Look, I'll tell you what. If I could find those googly eyes, mine wouldn't bounce quite as good, but I'm pretty sure I could.
You make a run at it. You make a run
yes,
at it.
I would.
Yo, where
The
do we
only
get
problem-
googly eyes like that?
Oh,
Hobby
Amazon.
Lobby.
Right. Like you find
Oh,
that.
Adam, you haven't seen these yet. These are
Are these really big googly eyes? Like we're
Yes.
talking pepperoni googly eyes.
no bigger.
No, they're pizza. Like they're the whole fucking pizza. Like,
The whole
I mean, they're bigger than my nipples, and I got like large nipples.
They're huge.
This would be good. The only thing was I need to figure out how to hide my belly a little bit more because it sticks out more in my boobs.
That's yeah.
Classic problem. Classic problem. You know what I mean?
It's the dad bod. It's the dad bod.
There's nothing
Did
wrong
you
with
find it, Alex? Can you play it?
Yeah, just keep talking. We don't have to. We're gonna feed it into conversation. Listen, we have a serious podcaster on. I'm trying to bring up
googly eyes.
I'm trying to be. We've got somebody. We got a fancy. I was telling Adam, it's like we love having all our guests on, absolutely. But sometimes it's nice to have somebody who has like legit podcasting gear. We all sound great. Nobody's cooking a fucking steak in the middle of an episode. It's really nice.
Nobody's eating popcorn in the middle of the podcast episode, which has happened before.
Shout out Scuba Steve.
Oh, that's great. You get to a point where you're just like bored, just eating during the show next to the mic.
Oh no, and then he
not asleep. Bored. Eating popcorn and talking at the same time. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was good times.
Why I pull this up, Adam? In case people don't know who you are, why don't you do introduce yourself to the Brewskis?
Yeah, Adam. Yeah. The way we ask it on Bass and Brews is, "Who the fuck are you?"
I like that. Well, I don't know how to describe myself. I guess
you're not 6 foot, so
I was about to say
I'm literally Adam. 6 foot.
Like you do know how to describe yourself.
I'm about to I'm pretty sure that deer mount is at 6 feet. So I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna show you that I'm 6 foot.
Okay, and that Seattle poster above Alex is at like 5 foot, and he apparently reaches it. I don't believe it either.
This motherfucker.
Okay. Anyways, I run the Business from the Bass Boat Show on the Serious Angler Network. That's Bailey, Andrew, and I have the Serious Angler Network, and it's a blast. It's so much fun. Everything that we do around the podcast space. Our biggest thing is learning in the fishing industry and sharing that information from different guests. And my show, for the most part, is on the business side. My two passions, right, are, other than hunting, it's bass fishing and the business side of things. And that's what my show's all about in Business from the Bass Boat. Just the show that's coming out next week. It's with the brand manager for Skeeter Boats. So just talking everything around Skeeter Boats and how he got into his position. He actually had a podcast back in the day. So anyways, great episode, but that's more of my show, is for anglers looking how to potentially build sponsorship, for someone who is interested in working in the fishing industry. And then for anyone who's like, man, I'm kind of interested in how this tournament stuff works, schedules. I go all over the place. I'll be honest with you. It's been up and down, all kinds of different things, but that's the premise of my show. I'm a tournament angler as well. I fish the Toyota Series out west, and I got the championship here at Table Rock in a couple of weeks.
About to say, you took third at the Delta this year, right?
Yeah, cool place, man. The Delta is baller. Man, that's the thing. The whole West Coast fishing thing. It pisses me off that we haven't figured out a way. And I understand the logistics and the tournament world, but man, there is so much, and especially as I've moved, there's so much sweet places, like they're just unreal fishing in the Northwest and the western part of the country.
But the western part of the country has their own little thing, and even though it's not associated with the major boat trails out there, people on the West Coast can fish, and they have, with the exception of, I guess, one recently that is fallen on non-paying terms. But anyway, the Western folks out there have their own series, and like you're talking about some fucking good ass anglers, and some of them have transitioned. We've had quite a few. I mean, there's a ton of names that have come from the West that are fishing now and have fished competitively before. But yeah, getting these guys to leave their Tennessee, Texas, or these southeast homes to get out there, or even now if we start counting the mid-northwestern folks up in Minnesota and Wisconsin,
yeah,
that's a haul. That's a haul for them to go out there for a tournament or two back, especially when certain professional leagues are paying out the same amount of winnings now as they did in 2006.
Dude, yeah, that you hit the nail on the head on the thoughts on the tournament industry right now. It's unfortunate to me how the prices haven't changed, right? Like the heyday from everything that I've had conversations with people and have seen, right, is like the late 90s, early 2000s, like holy shit. Like that was money. Like that was like you're fishing for millions. Like those guys could make a dang good living fishing tournaments. And it's just unfortunate that, and honestly, it's our own fault, right? Like there's still how many guys that sign up for the opens to 90% of them lose money this year. Like everyone still does it. And that's the hard part with it, is like as anglers, we're still just going and doing these things. And it's just,
well, maybe. So to throw it out there, yeah, guys back then could make money off fishing and fishing alone, basically.
Right.
But now I feel like the people are doing the opens and everything because they can record it and they can put it on YouTube and they can make a living that way. So I think more people are going to flood the market. I think YouTube's going to have a resurgence of fishing content, I think, within the next 3 years. And I think it's going to be folks doing that, like going and failing, right? Which sucks, but they'll be able to make enough money off that to cover and get all these sponsors and things like that. Like look at like Milliken. Milliken went from not fishing anything to where, he wanted open.
Huge for the sport.
Yeah, he tried some. He did some dabbling in the opens and stuff earlier on, and then he went straight.
He's always been a tournament angler, by the way.
Right,
like in Nebraska and stuff. He's always been
That's
fishing
right.
tournaments.
Yep.
And then he started making a living off of YouTube.
Yeah.
And hey, we think about it too. You see what he's done. I don't know where he stands right now, but you see what he's done this year doing it. But he perfected his craft by making videos, and then came up now and is able to compete in those opens. I mean, Deacon, I don't keep up well enough. Is he still got a chance to make the elites at the end of this year?
Man, I think he's got a slight chance, but let me
I think he just broke his boat though. He just fucked his boat up the last couple of videos
on Harris Chain.
I believe so.
No way, because that happened. I haven't even looked today.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Standings on that stuff. But
hey,
like
while you're looking at that, Deacon, too, let's back up a second, because Business from the Bass Boat was not part of the Serious Angler Network initially.
Yeah.
What made you start it, and then what made you switch over to their network? Besides, them being one of the biggest fishing podcasts out there.
Well, and at the time it was like, it was getting there, right?
Yeah,
but
they were up and coming when you switched over.
Right. And so, dude, more than anything, it was I had been on Bailey's show. Bailey had been on my show. So I started Business from the Bass Boat. Again, I had this concept of I like the whole outdoor industry, but I always heard when starting a podcast, you want to kind of niche down into something. And so I was like, well, I mean, my tournament fishing and bass fishing to me is what I love the most. So let's go there. And if I want to incorporate some hunting brands or outdoor brands, I'll do that too. But the thought process was like, I want to get into the heads of these guys who have built these companies, entrepreneurs, whatever it is in the fishing industry, whatever it may be. And that was my headspace on starting Business from the Bass Boat. So that's where it all started. And it was also like, I want to talk to pro anglers about how they've built up sponsors. Like in my mind at that time, it was like, how can I build a podcast? It was during COVID, early COVID when I started it, had the time at home, right? Like that kind of a thing. And it was like, is there a way for me to build a sponsorship base, build a network with these different brands on talking to how they started their brand? And then, maybe that can be incorporated into my tournament fishing career and podcast and all that. And so that's the reason for starting the show. And I wanted more information. Like, I feel like in the tournament world, there was always like the couple guys that have done it and made it fishing professionally and have these sponsors and figured out that road. But there wasn't like all that much education around being able to get there and do that. So that was the thought process with the show. Now the show, we talk about all kinds of different things, but that was the premise. And it still is to this day is trying to learn on what these brands are looking for and in the ever changing space with social media and YouTube and all this crap. And so that was kind of the main premise of the show. And so Bailey and I had been on each other's shows and had stayed together networking and talking. And I was just like, man, Bailey on social media is incredible, right? Like his social media prowess and level of just being on it all the time and knows how to do it. And I get, Bailey's like, man, you need to be posting more on fishing stuff and this and that, right? Like, and
you should say, Bailey, if I had thighs like yours, I would post more. But I don't have fucking thunder thighs like you, buddy.
Bailey has a social media algorithm and a constant thigh lock with those things.
You're talking about getting ladies on the show. That's Bailey's got the bottom half. I got the top. We're good to go.
Hey, Wolf
Cat Andrew's just fucking chopped liver.
And then Andrew's no, Andrew's great, man.
Andrew's the
and
only guy with like a real like a certificate. Like he's a fucking licensed captain. And
Right,
you guys are like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Bailey's good at TikTok.
Bailey's the TikToker. Adam pretends to know about business, and then we got Andrew.
The one who does this shit for like a living.
A living.
Quite
Yeah.
literally.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. But no, so more than anything, Bailey actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, I see you don't do anything on YouTube." At the time, I was just MP3, and he said, "What are your thoughts on coming onto the show or doing your show on our YouTube channel? And we can figure out something and this kind of a thing." And I thought about it, and I'm like, "Man, I really like partnerships. I like partnerships for two main reasons. Number one, I have strengths and other people have strengths, right? So like having that ability to lean on each other for what you're good at, I think is huge. And I think it takes a certain person to work in partnerships, but that is number one. Number two is it keeps you accountable into doing things because you're like, I don't want to let my buddies down, right? Like as you guys know, doing podcasting stuff, like it like if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have all these other things going, it's like everyone, I think from the outside sometimes think it's really easy and this and that. It's like, man, it's a lot of time and a lot of work. I've given up fishing trips for the podcast to literally talk about the thing that I love, So it's like some of that stuff to me, having people with you along the way is important. And so I sent back an email to Bailey and Andrew at the time. And this is when Bailey and Andrew were together on things. And I said, look, here's my thoughts. I think we combine this whole thing and we build this thing out to be a network and to have multiple shows. I think we add shows and I don't know if you guys have seen anything with the Meat Eater podcast. They're a hunting show, right? They have huge media, right?
Yep.
But they have multiple shows and they bring on hosts and they bring on these kinds of different things. So that has been the guiding light for me and our thoughts just as an organization is like, man, let's run this bass fishing thing. Let's figure out these different niches and what we want to do and build out these shows. And so that's where Lure Lab was created. That's where we're kind of working through these different things. And of course, mine is the business show, but we have like so much more to offer. Obviously, Serious Angler being our main show, but that's how that all came together.
I'm a little chafed is the word that's coming to mind right now that we haven't been invited to be
That's
part
not,
of.
Paul, that's not true.
To be part of the Serious Angler Network. I mean,
No.
You got the business side, you got the Serious Angler side, and we could come in and feel
so serious.
No, the not so serious side, but we are a fishing podcast that doesn't talk about fishing hardly at all. So I mean, we could fill the void of not having relevant fishing content once a week on the Serious Angler Network.
Well, so Paul, I did reach out to Bailey and I said, hey, I love the network. I think it's a great idea. We'd love to be part of it. And the first text he sent back was just LOL. And then a week later, he said, if we had you guys on the network, we'd be shut down instantly. So it's fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it is.
I think you still heard about spinach. I get it. Those thighs take a lot of blood flow. Man, Bailey's going to get fucking raked across the coals the whole episode. I love that guy. He's great, but
dude, yeah. You can't take a time if you're ever on any show to just give Bailey a little bit of shit. It's just part of it. He's too good at everything, so you got to be like, man, we got to knock him down a notch. I can't get his
some bitch wins every damn tournament. He fishes up north. I mean, he's been AOI in all the leagues. He's winning them. He's straight up hammer dammer up there. But you do feel a void. I do listen to a lot of podcasts in the fishing realm. You feel a void that really isn't filled with the business side of it. You're talking to a lot of the folks. It's not just the pro anglers. I mean, you talk to the people who own the businesses, who are in the industry, that are giving out, who are looking to sponsor people. And you're getting the information from them on how people can get sponsored. And yes, a lot of podcasts will touch on that with a guest, but that is what yours is based around. And that fills a need out there that I don't hear. And there might be other ones out there I don't know of, but that does fill that void of people being able to understand how they can actually get money to fish or create fishing content.
Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate that. And that's the premise. And honestly, with some of the shows I've had recently, that makes me like think like that. And that is totally a need. And like, for instance, a show coming up here that will be recorded next week. So it'll go out the following Monday. We've got Matt Pangrack from BTL coming on to talk
Panger.
about.
He does like a smaller podcast, right? We've
Yeah, he's
actually
got a
had him
tiny
on the
one.
show. Yeah, we had him on the
He's a little
show.
guy.
He said he was on our show, saw huge growth after it. It's always nice to go on these smaller, help these smaller podcast
Help
creators
those guys out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's real
give them a
nice.
platform to
I think-
generate
Well,
more
I
listeners.
think-
brand.
I think he's got a future in this media kind of area. I think he
you're
does.
right. I think he's got something there. Well, exactly though, right? Like, I mean, I've had him on 2 or 3 times now and enjoy the crap.
Oh,
out
okay,
of him. I've
okay.
stayed
Adam.
with him,
All
like,
right,
he's
swinging dick over here. I mentioned we had him
Oh,
once.
okay.
Adam goes, all right, I've had him 3 or 4.
well, okay. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the expenses to fish the opens in
Perfect.
2022.
Oh, that is so good. That is
So-
like a great
so-
roadmap for folks.
Right.
To,
Like,
like,
if
see.
you're looking into 2024, if you're a tournament guy and you're looking at, hey, what does it cost to do this? That kind of a thing. We're gonna break it down. Like, we're talking Excel file, everything. And
Mhm.
and so it'll be cool because that's someone who is in it, just has
Yep.
done it the last 2 years. So like that's the premise of Business from the Bass Boat, is trying to break some of those things that aren't really talked about. Like, everyone's like, oh, it costs so much to fish the opens, or oh, this and that about it. But it's like, all right, let's like actually look at the numbers on this. Like, is it
Right,
as bad as
right.
people say it is? Totally. But like,
Well-
we're gonna look at the actual numbers.
And the numbers are it's even more expensive now if you think about it, because folks would jump into the regionals, because if they finished in the top 3 up until this year, if they finished in the top 3, they could make it to the elites.
Right.
And then when they changed it and you had to fish all 9 opens to make it to the elites, that changed and we'll use the term algorithm for fishing. That changed that, because now those folks that won't, now you're either just fishing because you're on a good body of water and you think you can win some money and maybe you win first and you get to go fish in the classic, to now if you want to make the elites, you got to fish all fucking 9. You got to commit time, money, everything. It's a whole different ball game when they made that change for 2023.
It is. And I think for better or for worse, I mean, I'll be honest, my opinion on it is as far as making it, I'm not a fan of the payouts, but I will say I am a fan of making it a 9 tour league. And the only reason I'm saying that is how many times, especially like the guys from the Southwest division, or I guess it'd be the South Central division of the opens during that time when it was those 3-year cycles, it was always on rivers, right? It was like Arkansas River, the Ouachita, like whatever it was always rivers. And whoever qualified for the elites from that, like, they struggled. And so to me, the idea of making it a full schedule from Florida to New York and everything in between, I think it makes it at least like, if you make it, you got a good chance of surviving, because everyone, like, right. Like, if you don't just stay in, like, you have to, everyone's like, oh, you made it, great. It's like, man, you got to prove yourself the next couple of years here, because, you're still throwing out, even on the elite series. Unfortunately, the way professional bass fishing is you're still putting a ton of money into this, even at the highest
Pay
level.
into play,
It's
baby.
so funny. It's like I understand how they're doing it, like structuring it almost like Major League Baseball, right? You want to have grassroots. You want to have like a farm system to basically pull up to the higher end. And I understand that like minor league baseball players get paid trash, right? But this is even worse. You're not going to get paid anything. You're going
You're
to
losing money.
you're going to pay a lot of money to try to make it to the big leagues. But don't worry, once you make it to the big leagues,
Still
you're
don't
gonna be
get paid.
making. Oh wait, you mean I'm still not going to get fucking paid? Are you kidding? Like the whole thing. Paul's the tournament guy. I am not the tournament guy. I think the whole thing is basically high stakes gambling, and it's cool if you're into that. But I think we need to be realistic that it's gambling more than it is a sport.
It is fantasy football on steroids.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Except you're picking you as your team.
Right. And like, okay, like the person who probably talks about it the best in the tournament world, or not even something that I could relate it to, is like a Kyle Welcher. Like, the dude is a professional gambler, right? Like, he makes his money literally gambling. And that's what these guys like, and like myself to some extent as a side part of doing. But like we were talking about it, I fished a ABA championship this last week in Washington. First of all, incredible fishing, incredible country. Like, wow, like on the Columbia River and then a lake next to the Columbia River. And these places, like, I fished it as a team tournament. The ABAs out west, they're different than the ABAs on the east those days, but they're ABA team tournaments. We fished 5 or 6 of them in our region to make the championship. Well, the cool part about the championship is it's a 2-day tournament. That's a regular like payout and that kind of a thing. And then if you make it to the final day, which in this case I think it was 25 boats, you have a chance. It's a shootout for a bass cap. It's just for a boat on a lake that was off limits, so there was no practice on that lake. So it makes it attractive to someone who's not from that region to go fish it, because it's like, man, yes, I'm fishing against locals, which makes it hard. But, especially in the fall time frame, in my opinion, smallmouth, like you can land on them. You could win this thing. And it's exactly that. It's like on the certain day, it's a gamble and you could win a boat.
Right.
And we were just talking about it. We camped all week, right? Like I do a lot of truck bed camping at these tournaments. And it was like the addiction with this stuff is real. And I listened to a podcast the other day on the addiction, like why humans are addicted to things. And they related to this study. And I was like, holy cow, this is like dead on for why tournament fishing is so addicting to me. And I feel like why gambling and that, there you go. You get it, Paul. Like, I mean, so they did this study, and this was basically with pigeons, right? So the pigeons had the ability to go, and they had 2 different buttons.
Yep, I know this. Yep.
Have you heard this?
Yeah, okay. But what's funny is I didn't hear this from a fishing. Did you hear it from a fishing podcast?
No. It was from the
last podcast on the left.
Nope. I think it's called the Art of Manliness podcast.
See, all right, I heard this week or last week. I heard the same thing, the same study, but it was a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if it was last podcast on the left. It was a whole different podcast.
Was it was it like an author of a book around this stuff?
No, no, they were
just referencing it. They were just referencing it into what their podcast is about. But go ahead and tell the study, because
I think it pertains to like everything in life. I thought about it with like, because it's so true. Like, so the pigeons had 2 buttons, and they could choose the button that would give them a piece of food every time they hit the button, 1 piece of food. Or they could go to the button that they could hit the button and it would be random on when they would get food, but it would be a ton of food. So it'd be like they could hit it random, nothing, boom, 6 or 7 pieces of food would come out, right? Well, 97% of the pigeons, after they gave them both options, chose the one that was randomized. And it goes back to this whole thing.
All or nothing.
Right. It goes back to this whole thing of like, back in way back times, how did you find your food? It would be like, there's nothing, boom, stockpile of food, right? A bunch of berries, or, we killed a bison, whatever it is like that's like the same concept. And so our minds are hardwired this way to be like, if you knew at every tournament the results of what were going to happen, if you were going to win or whatever, you wouldn't care. But because you're like, man, I'm rolling the dice and we could win today. We don't know what's going to happen. That is why I think there's such this level of addiction. And that is why I think the problem with the tournament fishing world right now is that there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that are willing to go play that game with all these different organizations. And like, if we want to make it professional, my opinion, no one else's, I think we need one organization to run the top 100 guys, and that be it. But we have all these different offshoots, and I'm a part of it. Like, I'm offshooting in a semi-pro level, in my opinion. And it's like, all of that is because, that addiction level, I think.
It was the Jordan Harbinger show that I heard it on. They referenced it.
Okay.
The part about that, though, is we used to have 2 NBAs. There used to be 2 NFLs, back in the day. And they consolidated them. And when they consolidated both of those sports, that's when they started to take off.
Okay.
because you brought everything together.
Legitimacy. You brought legitimacy to it.
And Joe
That's
LaBarbera
people.
has said on this podcast last year sometime, a long time ago, about the fishing
Fuck
pie.
Joe.
Yeah, fuck Joe. You said fuck
Have
Joe
you
or I
ever
love
had
Joe?
have you ever had Joe on your show?
I haven't. We've had him on.
I've had him 3 times. Fuck off.
Actually, Alex has not had him on this podcast yet. I have.
Oh,
Alex
yeah,
has
that's
been
true.
on one single episode.
That's
Matter
not
of
true.
fact-
He was there at the kegger.
Oh yeah. Well, matter of
The
fact,
kegger. What is this?
Oh yeah. So at
it's
the end of the year,
kegger. It's
also
where Alex gets drunk and stumbles upon his words and drops liquor.
Total
how long,
side
how
note.
long does it last? Is this
Well,
like a
so-
4-hour show?
Yep,
Like what is
yep.
Yes.
Three plus
Yep.
hours of
I
liveness.
can't
It's-
wait to listen to
It's
this
it's a
shit.
serious angler, except we don't cut Drunkwood off when he comes
I was
on.
going to
We
say
let
when
him
he
stay.
doesn't have pants on and he walks around in a thong, that's when you don't let him cut off.
Yeah, we let him stay on the whole time.
Sweet.
Also, folks, again, that is a reminder. We are going to be doing that this year. Send me in on socials or bassandbrews@gmail.com. Any recommendations you'd like us to do? We're going to change the format because it actually cost me way too much money to do the show last time.
Adam, last year when we did it, it was an
Streaming
upgrade from the previous
hours.
year.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Alex invited I invited some people, he invited some people, and at one point we had like 12. We maxed out StreamYard for
We did.
people on the live.
Yeah.
And he
12
was-
people. I can't even imagine. Like, we've had like
Dude.
8 before.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was
It
a
was
fucking
a fucking
madhouse.
clusterfuck.
So-
and,
so
and
this
Alex
year-
was having to go on and upgrade our StreamYard at least twice through the podcast.
While you were going?
Yes. So
because we're professional at Bass and Brews, and we don't.
we're
pay
going to
for shit.
alleviate that. We're going to alleviate that this year. We're going to be doing blocks of people coming on. But I hope you guys are excited because last year was a fucking blast. I dropped basically like a half a bottle of bourbon in my lap live, and it's all going to happen again this year. It's that was the year. That episode was the one my wife said, "You fucking moron! How did you fall upstairs?" Because I recorded in a basement. And when we were finally done, it was like a little after midnight. I fell going up the stairs multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
is
why
a
you're
good
laughing,
time.
Adam. You're going to be invited.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sounds
So we have,
blast.
I mean, we have past guests on. It's fan favorites. It's going to be a blast, and you're going to be a fan favorite. There's a couple things I've noticed in this first 37 minutes. So one, Adam's got a podcaster voice, but
Yes,
still
he
like,
does.
but still has a TV anchor face.
Yes. Hey, if
Yeah.
you ever listen to his podcast and never look at him,
Yeah.
you would think he's 6'5", 250.
Yeah.
Benches
Jacked.
probably at least 225, 30 times.
Yep.
I mean, you would think Adam is like is
It's got to
the
just be
shit.
this equipment, dude. You know, you pay for all this bullshit, and it probably.
I
helps
mean,
us out.
Jesus, you got
But
Mickey
also-
Mouse headphones on your. How big are those motherfucking headphones? Jeez, God.
Well,
almighty.
he's going to Twitch after this to go stream some
I got
Destiny.
to stream some gaming, dude. Take a
But
break.
also, you could tell he's been on podcasts because if people notice, me and Paul try. I mean, I end up getting drunk and I move around a lot. 'cause
Paul and I. Paul and I.
God damn it. Anyways, we move around a lot. You can tell Adam's done a lot of StreamYard podcasts because he stays so still, just fucking like a fucking mannequin, just a mannequin with a yapping head on the top. I mean, it's good yapping, but just he doesn't fucking move. Like, I want to tell him, like, hey, do you want us to pause this so you can get your wiggles out and then we can go right back at it?
Get your wig.
You're saying I should have been a news anchor. Like that's what it's
I
boiling
think
down.
so. I think so,
yeah,
man.
I think in the '60s you would have been the quintessential
Yeah.
I've been Anchorman.
radio talking head in the '60s.
Oh, man.
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the green room. You did just move, and you moved to an area where, I mean, I think you're taken, but you'd probably slay because Idaho's full of fucking nothing. So you'll be all right up there. All right, so a little. If you guys rewind it way back when we had Wet Coast swim baits on, they're out of Washington. I'm originally from Washington State.
no way. Really?
Yeah, born and raised in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
I fucking hate Idaho. It's got more child molesters per capita than any other state. It's fucking
Does it
creepy.
really?
Yeah, it's creepy there, bro. And we just hated them. It's a lot better now, actually, I think. But we hated it.
Influx of people.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
leveled out, hopefully.
Hopefully. But you just recently moved, right, from Colorado to
Yeah,
Idaho?
what took you from Colorado? Because I initially thought that you were trying to move closer east. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I might be mistaken, but then you just moved west and north.
the wrong direction in
Yeah.
bass fishing.
Yeah.
So man, basically that's what's funny is on the podcast, because Colorado for bass fishing is about as bad as it gets. It's
It
worse
is
than it
great
is.
for hiking, though. It's
Oh,
a fucking
man.
hiking
A
mecca.
lot of hiking, a lot of hunting. Like,
Hiking's fucking stupid.
hey,
Listen,
thank
the
you.
official
Tell that to
the,
my girlfriend.
the
Tell that to
official
Kenzie.
Bass and Brews or
Oh,
Bass and Brews
Alex,
stance
you
is
just called his girlfriend stupid. So
No,
you
I'm
should
okay
shut
with
up now.
I'm okay
That's
with
fine.
I
Listen,
listen, I
hiking-
want to
hiking is fucking stupid. Hiking is just walking in the woods.
for
It's fucking dumb.
I swear to God, people
call
literally
it walking.
want to go post shit on Instagram with fall colors. Like that's it is what it is.
I've been wanting to have hiking people on here, and both of y'all are fucking this shit up by calling
We could
them
talk
stupid.
to any
more
grandmom that's in a
hiking
mall. we could talk to a grandmom in the mall. She's just as much hiking as anybody else.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
So Meemaw walking her laps for 6 hours in the mall is the same
Yeah.
as somebody that through
as
hikes
long as
the
she's hitting some
Appalachian Trail.
stairs, as long as she's hitting
She
some
does-
stairs,
yeah.
it's the same. That's the
And
same
also,
thing.
actually, Meemaw's probably better because she didn't stop and pose in front of a fucking tree for 30 minutes to get the right light to take
Right,
a
and she
fucking
didn't
gram
have some-
photo.
$500 hiking boots on. She was out there in her
Oh, I've got
So-
my lightweight backpack. I want to make sure I'm not, I don't want to add any weight to this 1.5-mile hike. Like, listen here, Susie. If the 1.5-mile hike's gonna blow
put on
your
some
knees
fucking
out, get the
Crocs
fuck out
and
of here.
it'd be okay. Like, it's great.
Fucking
Well,
hate
there
hiking.
goes our hiking segment to
Yeah.
Bass and Brews Network.
Sorry for
we
anyone
wanna
who's
add.
interested in hiking. No one will watch the show again.
Total side note, real quick, this episode of Bass and Brews is brought to you by REI, just the hiking section. So thank you. Use discount code BABCAST and pay $10 extra.
$10 extra for your
Yeah.
huge trekking poles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All-
the fucking poles.
all of
When
our
they got the poles.
all of our discount codes add money to your bill
Yeah.
weekend on Bass and Brews.
Oh, nice.
That's why we don't have any.
Oh, nice. He's like, yep, I see why Bailey didn't have them in the network.
So all right,
Good.
you moved from Colorado.
Okay, yeah. So my girlfriend Kenzie,
Is that
She
short for
basically-
Mackenzie? For
yes,
Mackenzie?
it
Yeah.
is. So she
With a Y or IE?
IE. So
Why'd you have to think about it? I saw you look up.
because it's always Kenzie. I didn't think about Mackenzie, but I had
You
to-
should start every time you spell her name on anything, you should do it KENSY.
KENSY.
Kenzie, yeah.
That's good.
Hold on.
That won't make her
Before-
upset about anything. Like,
Also, before we move off of the hiking, I want to make sure people are clear who aren't watching Adam. He's shit talking it, but this man has 2 what looks like marathon fucking medals behind him.
that's true. That's our marathon.
All right. So
Well, one's a
marathon
marathon,
runners.
one's a
Called
half.
it. Yeah.
All right. So marathon runners are fucking dumb, right? Also, but also anytime somebody displays their marathon medals, it's
Hey.
never just 2. He's only got 2. Like he tried it twice. It was like, fucking, I'm done.
Hey, actually, I've only done 1 marathon. The other
How'd
one,
you get 2?
A
the other
participation
one's a
medal.
half. The other one's a half
The
marathon.
half.
He got a participation medal.
Hold.
Hey,
Yeah,
the
hold on,
only-
give you a participation medal.
if
Hey.
if you have ever been to Disney World, they do this running thing at Disney World,
Uh-huh.
and these people at Disney World are wearing all of these running medals, and
Just carrying their
they-
medal.
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's a
and they're-
thing.
and like I saw so many of them that were bigger than me, and I'm a large man,
They're giant.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck did you get, like? What do you have to? Do you just have to show up to the finish line?
Obviously, it's tough because Adam only has 2.
Hey, that's
And he's a
right.
skinny
Listen,
bitch.
I got
mean-
passed by a big dude one time on a marathon. I was like, son of a bitch. Like,
I
this
just
is
think
not
it's
about-
funny. Like when dudes hang those medals, like when they got like 2, they're like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna have to do 10 before I can display
Well,
these.
he's got
You
them
were
on
like,
a damn.
fuck that. I'm putting them up there.
Hey, that's
He's
what
got
I'm
them on an elk shed too. I
There's,
mean,
Yeah. Was the marathon? I see it's from Colorado State. Was it a marathon? Was it a walk to go shoot said elk and then come back with it?
Now that
no,
would be
I
cool as
wish it
fuck.
was. Now that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
That'd be
run a
really-
marathon, shoot an elk, and run the elk back.
on the elk back.
Yeah.
That's miserable. If you've ever packed out an elk, I don't think I could run with an elk back on.
I bet if a goddamn grizzly was after you, you could run.
I bet you're right. Speaking of grizzlies, dude, the
Oh.
amount of grizzly attacks on hunters this year in Idaho and Montana is absurd. Like those
Really?
things, yes. Like seriously, like man, grizzlies scare the shit out of me. I don't want to hunt.
Are
grizzly.
you? What do you think that's from? I think I know what it's from, but what do
Okay.
you think it's from?
So I think two things. Number one, grizzly bears are a federally protected species. So there's no hunting of grizzly bears, right?
In the
So-
lower 40.
In the lower
In
48.
the lower 48. You're right.
Correct.
Grizzly bears in Alaska don't seem to hurt people very often. But the lower 48,
Because them
Yep.
bitches know.
right. Exactly.
Them bitches, no.
And bitches, no.
I just see the bear coming out. He's like, I'm gonna fucking eat somebody. He's like, oh fuck, I'm in Alaska. God damn it. I'm eating shit
I can't do
berries
this.
and
I'm gonna get
busted ass salmon. I'm fucking around with this block. I'm going to Colorado Springs. Fuck that. Might eat
Let
me
me
a
hike down
goddamn
to
hipster.
Idaho.
I'm gonna eat
That's
some.
exactly right.
I'm gonna eat some bitch on the trail taking an Instagram photo.
All right, Deacon. Number one, federally protected.
Federally protected, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I think there's more people than ever
Yeah.
like spending time in the backcountry.
I think
Right.
Who
that's
probably shouldn't be out there
Right.
as well.
Right.
So-
Like, well, a hiker got eaten in Montana. Like
Good.
This lady runner.
Good.
There's a
Good.
runner, hiker, runner.
good. Good. That's
No,
what
that
you
is not
fucking
good. That
That's
is
fucked up,
mean.
man.
No,
That
I
is
mean you're
mean.
in there. It's not mean. One, I don't believe
But
in
it's not
hiking.
good.
I don't, well, it is. The bear got fed.
You're talking about like it's a religion. I don't believe in hiking.
I don't believe in hiking. But the bear got fed. You're in its habitat. He fucking ate it. Good for
Then,
him.
then she got killed, and both her cubs got killed because they broke into a house after us.
That's
That's
right. It's
true
the same
story.
bear. You
Well,
know that,
listen,
yeah. Holy cow.
Listen, there's some rebel
I
bears.
listen to a lot of hiking podcasts as well, and they usually
Oh, those
cover
must be
bear-
fucking.
And they were
Those
just
must
talking
be.
shit about grizzly bears the entire time.
Hold on, a hike. You do not listen to a hiking. That's got to
Yeah,
be
quite a few hiking and camping podcasts.
Listen,
I
I'll
told
find-
you, Alex. We
find
talked
some
about
good
this.
I know.
I drive a lot. I listen to
I
a
know.
lot of fucking podcasts.
You listen to a lot of that sounds fucking awful.
Okay, so flip it on you guys.
Yeah.
How did Bass and Brews start? Are like, I think I have a theory around podcasts, so I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about.
Uh,
Okay, well, tell us your theory first, because
Yeah, yeah,
all right,
let's
all right.
hear it.
Here's the deal. This is like our 148th or something episode,
Uh-huh.
and people that are listening to this podcast have heard this story a ton of times. So we're going to run over it real quick. If you want to have the whole story, all you have to do is invite us on Business with the Bat from the back of the bass boat, and we can cover the ins and outs. But I
Hold
want to
on.
hear your. I want to hear
Hold
your.
on.
Hold on, no, Alex. Let him tell his theory. And
No,
then
no,
Alex
before his
can tell-
theory.
oh, God.
Before his theory, I just want you to know if you invite us on that show, this is what you're going to see.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
How cool is that, Adam?
I had to
Dude,
cut it off before we got copyrighted.
I think that needs to happen on your marathon show with every
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, you get a prize. Whoever brings the best,
Googly eye
eyeball titty
titties.
show wins a prize. From
And
that.
Alex will provide everybody with the googly eyes.
Perfect.
Now
Yes.
we're
All right.
talking.
What's
Ship 'em
your
out.
theory?
What's your theory?
Well, no, it's not a theory. I just feel like a bunch of people started podcasts because number one, they're podcast listeners. Like like you're talking about, Paul. Like you listen to a ton of podcasts, and you're like,
Yep. We're
can
both
do
that.
I
Yep.
can do that. Like no problem. And that's honestly probably how I started. I listened to a pile of podcasts before I started podcasts.
Yeah, so that was it. But really, I was trying to be YouTube famous and doing a podcast that's supposed to drive traffic to the YouTube channel. And it
How did that work?
did.
Did it?
Well, it kind of for the podcast only. So then I gave up on that. And then actually when I first started, we were super structured because I'd listened to a bunch of other fishing podcasts and they are very structured when I first started. And that's great. And that's great. When people do that, that's awesome. They have more insight than me. I'm not a tournament angler. A big one that hit me is I wanted to hit like smaller content creators because they don't normally have a platform. Because normally you don't have somebody on a show unless they're in like the Serious Angler Network or some shit like that, right? So we wanted to have the peasants on because the peasants are fucking awesome. And
It's always awesome.
so it was a mix of that, but then so I mean everybody knows the whole story. I was gone for a year. Paul took over. We brought Paul on. Paul was chaotic, and I loved what he added. Brought him on as a co-host, and then within the last year, we kind of gave up on like trying to be anything like a fishing podcast. We've a variety show. KBN called us that's the Kayak Bass Nation called us a variety show. So and we fucking wear that like a badge. Like
Let's go.
We embraced the stupidity.
again,
Dude, I
all
love
those
it.
other
And
all
like
those
you
other
said, there's a
podcasts are
need
great.
for that, right?
Yes.
Like there's a need for the business serious
Yep.
bullshit side, but there's also a need for like my problem with the same deal is like I didn't want to start a podcast that was the same exact thing
Yep.
of interviewing pro anglers about how to catch them on this time of the year,
Yep.
right? And that's just like so I'm glad that that's
Well,
I think
it's
this-
hard
Well,
because
hold
there's
on.
so many of
Go ahead,
those.
sorry.
Hey, here's the thing. It's we had Russ Snyder's on
We did.
last week, and he talked about deck picks.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah, we
I
talked
mean,
about decks on Reddit.
yeah. And you know, no other podcast has he talked about decks.
Yep.
And then we got him on Bass and Brews, and we
Boom.
talked about decks.
See, I love it when we have guests on that are like, dude, I fucking love that. But they're also the people that are running like podcasts that get paid to do this. And they're like, dude, that sounds like so much fun, but I would hate not getting paid. So fuck that.
I mean, like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
hitting dead on.
Look,
It
we
is,
can't. We can't even get fucking discount codes on Bass and Brews. More or less, get any money given to us.
Get
Actually,
product, man. Get something. Come
we
on.
skipped a bunch of the new icebreakers, Paul. Hey, Adam, since we're talking about how ridiculous we are and nobody wants to pay us anything, let's play a
you're wearing
game.
a 6 cents hat. That should
I
be
am.
monetized.
Yeah, well, they don't fucking pay me because that's a whole situation. Anyways,
Yeah.
everybody loves the game Marry, Fuck, Kill. Do you remember that game when you were a
Oh,
kid?
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna play that game, and it's with you, and it's it's aliens, Bigfoot, or the Loch Ness monster.
Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, let's say so. Aliens. Oh man, the Loch Ness. Okay, I gotta kill the Loch Ness monster. That thing
Yes.
is the scariest out of all of them.
That's
Like,
scariest.
No,
That bitch is the only one not eating or molesting people.
Yeah, no shit, right?
that thing,
Yeah, Adam knows what he wants.
No.
He knows what he wants as a man in Idaho.
Right. We want an we're gonna fuck the alien because
Okay.
there's some crazy freaky shit going on.
Yeah.
With the alien, so that sounds great.
I love
And
it.
then I guess we're marrying Bigfoot by the process of elimination.
So
I
you
get
like you like hairy motherfuckers.
Oh,
man,
here
huh?
we go.
There it is. Nope.
There's got to
Hey,
be a
Kinsey.
negative with everything.
Kenzie, I told you to quit shaving your armpits.
Please, just leave hairy.
He lost his mic. So much for being a pro.
Myself.
He tore it
He
off.
lost
He
his
tore it
mic.
off the desk.
Because
Oh
he was
my God.
thinking he's so upset right now. Kenzie, if you're listening to this, Adam wants you to stop shaving.
Oh, she just
Everywhere.
walked in too. Hopefully she can't hear. That is great.
I do
That
like
should be
those
your
answers.
thumbnail for the show.
I do like
Those
those
are good.
answers because a lot of people.
Is it the
Actually, I
same
hate those
question
answers.
every time? As far as
We
It's a
started
new
that.
one.
We started
Yeah.
that like 4 or 5 episodes ago. We
Yeah.
had Alex Rudd on, and
Oh,
we did.
wow.
It was a whole episode.
We did a
of
whole
Marry,
episode
Fuck,
of Marry,
Kill.
Fuck, Kill.
And
Okay.
I have you obviously you know Alex. He's been
Oh,
on
yeah.
y'all's podcast a ton of times, right? I got Alex Rudd to not want to answer a question.
And blush. You could see
that
him
is
blush.
you're lying.
You could see him blush underneath his beard.
bypassed.
I got to go back and listen to that. I saw it was like a couple episodes ago. I
Yeah,
gotta go
yeah.
back.
It's about 5. I
Well,
think.
Paul will tell you what was the Marry, Fuck, Kill on that, Paul.
Astroglide. Vaseline, or what the fuck was the other one?
I think it was spit.
Fuck, his or hers. It's the his or hers ones.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was
I mean,
Astroglide, Vaseline, or God damn, why can't I think of it right now? Anyway, you get the gist of it. And he bowed out. He says, "Guys, I'm not
you
answering
backed him
that."
into a corner.
We did.
Yes, and look, when he got that corner, he did not fight his way out.
Nope.
He cowered, and he got beat up.
That's good. That's
How many times have you had him on your show?
on Business from the Bass Boat?
Yeah.
0. But he's
Fuck
been
yeah.
on a bunch of serious English.
Fuck yeah.
See,
It's in a competition, Alex.
It's not. But when I go, one time where I'm like, oh yeah, we had that guy on, and then you instantly with, oh, I've had him on 3 or 4 times.
Oh, I meant
Like,
to
you
say this
stop.
earlier, but Alex interrupted me. Deacon, he's really, really butthurt because I had Matt
yeah.
Pangrack on when he was
Yeah.
gone.
Oh,
And
I
like
see.
one
You
of the
wanted to
reasons he
be here.
started this was because
Oh, that's
Once
why
we
I
got
of
started-
Matt
big,
Pangrack.
once we got big, or not big, but once we kind of found our kind of flow, I was like, here's my top 5. And 2 of the top 5 Paula's had on without me.
One of them was not my fault. His
Greg
daughters,
Blanchard was not your fault. My kids were vomiting and shitting all over the place. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Not gonna make it. We
But
got
what's
big
funny,
problems.
but what's funny is I figured it was only going to be an hour and a half episode because Greg Blanchard is a busy man. So
Yeah.
my wife finally gets home. She had like a meeting to go to at night, and the kids have just, I mean, the house is fucking gross. There's shit and vomit everywhere. And I'm cleaning it up. It's finally clean by the time she shows up. And she's like, oh, did you want to go do your podcast? I was like, no, it's like a fucking hour and 45 minutes in. They're not doing it anymore. Greg's a busy man. Come to find out, they did a fucking 3.5 hour fucking episode.
you
with
could have
Greg
hopped in
Blanchard.
halfway through.
I texted him too.
I put my shit on silent because I was so mad at my family, just as a whole.
Just the whole thing.
The kids woke up and they're like, thanks for taking care of me. I was like, thanks for squashing my semi-pro podcast dreams, children.
Dream killer.
Old friend.
Hey, that is a great thing though, Deacon. Damn, excuse me. That is a great thing, Deacon, about having 2 hosts.
It is.
Is that if something happens and one of us can't show up, you know what? A fucking episode gets put out, and here's the deal: we do not stack episodes.
No,
Like
not really.
I
yeah.
called. We had a last minute cancellation, and I texted you today at like 11:30 Eastern time, thinking you were
Good.
still on Colorado time too. By the way,
I am.
Or closer.
It's the same
time.
Oh,
time,
is it?
dipshit.
oh
yeah,
no shit!
dipshit.
Ah,
Yeah.
damn boy, that's
But obviously
squiggly
he's
line.
got nothing to do because he's in fucking
Yeah.
Idaho now.
So I was like, yeah, whatever.
It's,
So
it's
we don't
4 in the
stack
morning.
podcasts. We usually get the guest.
Yeah.
Typically Monday or Tuesday of the week we record.
Right.
And then it comes
And
out
so
the next
like
Friday.
if something happens to Alex or I, at least one of us can get some kind of bullshit out for an hour and a half.
Oh,
at
dude,
minimum.
I have always said I enjoy personally. I enjoy my show is myself interviewing people or a solo show, whatever it is. I personally have always enjoyed multi-host shows because
Oh.
there's banter. They bullshit with each other. I think one of my a show. Get this. So my brother is like a world-class wrestler, right? And like,
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that shit. Dive into that a little bit more because this motherfucker is like literally world class.
Is he Brock Lesnar?
no, but like
Wow.
similar level in the wrestling world. Not in,
No,
like,
he's
the
the
UFC world.
same level as Brock Lesnar in college. But go
Right.
ahead, finish that,
Right.
and then we'll
Right.
get into
My
it.
brother won an NCAA title, right?
Yeah,
shit.
and his last year, or it would have been, I guess, yeah,
2 years ago, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
2 years ago. And so, anyways, like I started listening during that time. Flow Wrestling has a podcast. Flow is really kind of cool because there's a lot of parallels in the fishing world. There wasn't like a lot of coverage in my eyes. It was kind of like a BTL back in the day of the wrestling, right? There's just not a lot of money in following wrestling and this and that.
Mhm.
They created this whole deal around it in both the media space and then they have a podcast on it. So I started listening to that show because my brother be mentioned in it and they're talking about predictions for NCAAs and this and that. I still listen to that show today. My brother's a wrestling coach at Stanford, but like it no relation whatsoever to listening to my brother wrestle or anything like that. I still listen to it because those hosts, the 3 of them, banter and bullshit with each other, and it's so much fun to listen to. and I'm not that interested in wrestling, but I'm interested in wrestling because of those hosts.
Listen,
So to me, that's a cool deal.
Listen,
that's
Brewskis.
why I say I listen to a lot of podcasts, is because the majority of those podcasts are fucking entertaining, and I don't give a shit that it's in the niche or realm that they're in.
Right.
It's the entertainment side that I enjoy about it.
I just want to make sure all the Brewskis hear this. You guys bitched and moaned about me and Paul's banter sometimes. Paul interrupting. You guys saw last episode. I can't function properly. I turn into Paul is the color commentary. I'm the straight man. I give the ones and zeros. Paul colors it on top. He is Bob Ross. I am a fucking architect. That's how it fucking works, all right? And then 2, not only did we miss out on the actual star of Serious Angler, which would be Bailey, it sounds like we missed out on the star of the Deacons with his brother. I don't know how we ended up with second place each time.
Second place, baby.
So tell us, your brother wrestled at Penn State, right?
No, he wrestled at Northwestern.
Okay.
Shit, close to damn enough. But
no, it's not.
he
Totally
won a
different.
national
Penn
damn-
State's a whole nother program. I would have had a whole nother. I would have had a whole nother set of questions if he was at Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State's
a
incredible.
national championship. Is he? What weight class did he wrestle?
He wrestled 157 is where he won his title.
Okay, so y'all are similar in stature.
I mean, he's about twice as jacked, but yeah, like we're similar in stature. He's a little bit shorter. He's like 5. I don't know. He thinks he's probably 5'11", but he's like 5'10". I don't know.
So that's kind of like Alex. Alex thinks he's 5'12", but he's more like 4 foot.
You know what? Fuck you. I'm done with this.
Hey, Deacon, if you and your brother got in a fight,
who would win?
Obviously we know who would win.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So if y'all got in a fight, would you try to like bait him into just thinking it was a screaming match, and then when he let his guard down, you like open hand him in the ear and like throw off his equilibrium?
I'd have
to go fuck him up then.
Creative. Now we're talking. Yeah. Like again, this is my younger brother, right? Like he's a year and a half younger than me, and so it was like, man, it was like, yeah, he's getting a little bigger. He's getting a little bigger through high school. Like he's religious with working out, and then he went to college. And then he came back, and I was like, all right, he's a lot bigger. Like he wrestles 157. His natural body weight's like in the 170s, 180s.
That's right.
Like,
yeah,
but like all muscle, right? So it's like, yeah. Then it was like, there's no more. We used to get in fights over playing Monopoly and bullshit. Now it's like, I guess I'll just back out on this one.
Now you're like, bitch, if you come closer to me, I'm going to throw this damn spook in your face. And it's got 3 damn treble hooks on it. So,
you better watch out.
Yeah, I'm going to smack you in the face with this weight, bitch.
That's exactly right.
Does he fish?
He what's been really cool, right? Like I was the outdoorsman in the family for sure. Like I loved hunting and fishing more than anything. And it's been cool because as he has kind of gotten through college and everything, when I was out at fishing the Delta after that tournament, so he's out Stanford, it's an hour and a half away, right? Him and now his fiance, they came and we fished for a day or two. But that's been cool is like since graduating college, even through college a little bit, like he's been a lot more interested in hunting, fishing, and that kind of stuff. And it's been cool because like we were close growing up and then we kind of like spread apart. And then it's like, man, it's interesting as you go through life of like you get older and it's like, man, you're interested in doing things. Like my brother got his hunter safety and it's like, dude, I was always the one hunting. He never had any interest in high school doing that. So it's like same with fishing. Like he's like, man, I want to get out and fish if I'm back in town or that kind of thing. So
well, if you're wrestling at a D1 school, you don't have fucking time for anything but
also
wrestling bitches in books.
Yeah.
WBB.
Also, Adam's not going to join that. He's not going to be like, you know what? It sounded really cool to get beat the fuck up by my younger brother. That sounds fucking awesome. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Dude, I wrestled for like a little bit and I was like, this isn't any fun. I don't know. There's fun parts of things like game day and this and that in sports, but like, dude, everyone hated wrestling practice. My brother was like, this is the most fun ever.
Did y'all see that TikTok that's been floating around this week? The wrestling TikTok where the lady's like getting Phil or whatever his name is, and the guy's nuts and
I have seen that.
They are sitting on his face, and he's like looking back at the camera and can't get out of the pin.
He's getting pinned in his ball sacks in his mouth. Like
yes.
My dad
get it, Phil, and he's like, shut up, Ma.
My dad sent me that fucking TikTok because I tried to wrestle, and some dude gave me a black eye with his fucking cup when I wrestled. And after that, my older stepbrother was like, "Yo, bro, you got a boner black eye," and I never fucking wrestled again.
Hey, I can't. Alex made his own short joke with that. This bitch got a black eye from a guy's cup. That shows you how short Alex
It was the
is.
same thing, but obviously in that TikTok, that guy wasn't wearing a cup because he just had soft balls on his face.
Just bulge hitting him.
Yeah.
in the
Dude, it
mouth,
was so
like,
bad.
Hey,
It was.
he's famous right now. I feel bad for that guy. Like, man,
look, man. In the
Somebody's
day
gotta
and
put
age
him
of
on a
social
watch
media,
list.
the day and age of social
Seriously.
media, it doesn't matter how you become famous. A dick and balls on your face gets you famous. I mean, you run
you
with
run
it.
with that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
go.
What
You
What
go.
does he do? Does he run his own brand of singlets?
We don't know. We saw the same TikTok you did.
Does he
Hey,
run
so
a
you
brand of
moved to
singlets?
Idaho. Hey, you moved to Idaho. We never even finished that part of the story.
We're talking
Yeah.
about dick and balls now. All right.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to Bass and Brews.
Welcome, yes, exactly. Welcome to Bass and Brews.
So my girlfriend Kenzie got into PT schools all across the country.
What's
Oh my
PT?
gosh,
Physical
yes.
therapy?
Physical therapy.
Yes.
There you
Yep.
go. There you
So
go.
my wife is a PT.
Oh no way.
Bailey's wife to be in like 2
Yep,
weeks
yep.
is a PT.
He's been hold my hand through this whole process of PT school. He's like, yeah. So it just costs a lot of money, and
Yeah.
this is what it is. But anyways, yeah. So it's been. She got into all these different programs. She was nice enough to let me choose different places too.
Whoa.
The one I'm a little bit annoyed with is she did not apply in Tennessee like I wanted her to. That was on
Oh.
Chickamauga. That was,
Boo.
she did get into I think University of Vermont or something that was on Champlain. We're talking
Okay.
on
Damn it.
Champlain. So that's one that I considered that I pushed for. The problem was at the end of the day, finances, it was pretty dang expensive to go there as it was. Idaho was one of the
Way
least expensive
cheaper.
schools.
Yeah,
Way
fucking Vermont might as well be Quebec. I mean, let's be real.
Right. And so it was like, all right, at the end of the day, this is a 2.5-year program where somewhere that makes sense. And for me, there was a couple other places she was interested in. Like one was in Montana. And I was like, look, I'm not interested in going to Montana. I like hunting, but I want there to be some kind of bass fishing and be closer to some things.
The only thing
I'm
in
gonna be
Montana,
fucking miserable if we go
Yeah.
to Montana because I'm just gonna look at my boat for 2.5 years in the garage
right.
and just like tie rigs and fish in the retention pond out back of the apartment complex.
Right.
the
Right.
only thing that's close in Montana is
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control. Music
I hope you're letting MP3 listeners know what is happening when that happens.
absolutely not. They're listening right now. We already kind of described it. If you
Go to
guys want to
YouTube.
see,
Please.
go to the Bass and Brews podcast YouTube
1
channel.
hour and 7 minutes and 3 seconds.
And
All right,
just
so
stay
you
around.
moved to Idaho because Kenzie
Kenzie
got
got
a
into
20-year
PT school, and
There
it
you
was
go.
like, hey, here's the deal. So there's a couple things. I work in farm and ranch real estate, and
Okay.
so I think there's an opportunity right now in Idaho. Number one.
Yep.
Number two,
A lot of potatoes.
a lot of potatoes, man. A lot of potatoes, a lot of cool hunting ranches and that kind of stuff
Yep.
too. And so for me, the other thing was I had just fished a tournament last year on Coeur d'Alene in northern Idaho, and was like, this place is unreal. And Pend Oreille, which is Brandon Polinick country, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So those two places, like, there's a ton of water in that northern section of Idaho into Washington.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, this is a pretty cool place. It's not the tournament level
No.
that I would like to be at, but I will say this. It is impressive to me. Some of the tournaments on Coeur d'Alene this year have had 85 boats in them. There seems to be a
That's good.
serious amount of tournaments happening, but more than anything, it was like, all right, looking at this stuff, if there's a time, if I want to fish nationally at a level, it's
Yeah.
like, it's not the time right now in my life. And this comes back from the business side. Like there has to be a risk reward level for me. And right now it's just not, I'm not financially willing to put myself through something like that. And so it's like, at some point, maybe I want to do that. That's not right now. I enjoy West Coast fishing. I enjoy clear water. I enjoy the Western Toyota series or whatever, all these tours out here, out West. I'm closer to those than I ever have been than in Colorado. Colorado's the middle of nowhere, right? It's like you either got to go 12 hours out of
Arizona.
east, or you got to go 12 to 20 hours west. Right?
Are you
Like,
so you're in the Coeur d'Alene area?
No, I'm not, because so
Oh.
she's in the Boise area. Like that's where
Okay.
her PT school is. But I spend a decent amount of time up there, and honestly, I'm surprised. There's some cool lakes right here that I
Well, the
within
Boise
2
area
hours
is a
of me.
wildland firefighter mecca.
It's
Yeah,
also that pedophile mecca we talked about.
Is it
Hey,
really? This
Yeah,
is
it's
wild
bad.
to me. I'm
It's
learning
bad.
so much.
Have you done
you need to
potholes
fact
yet?
check
Like
that.
what killed those people, and I know that was a
Yeah.
thing.
Deacon, you need to fact check some
No.
of Alex's shit, because this
Southern,
motherfucker
it's like-
throws
no,
stuff
I'm dead
out there
serious. Nope.
sometimes, and I
Nope.
ain't too sure
I feel
about
like
how factual it is.
there's a bias of growing up in Washington, because this is the
Could be.
same deal. The
Could be.
Idaho people always talk shit about Washington people. I can see there's like a border war. I can certainly see that happening.
Have you done potholes yet?
Dude, no, but that's
Yeah.
what Boomer with Alpha Angler, right? He keeps telling me.
Assassin.
I left my boat up at his house.
Yeah, Boomer Esiason. Yep. Adam
even know
doesn't
who
know
that
who that
is,
is.
Deacon?
Nope.
No,
Oh my God, he
It's
was a
an,
quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals back
Yeah.
in the '80s.
his name was
Merlin.
Boomer Assassin.
No,
Boomer Esiason.
He's
Oh,
still a
Esiason.
commentator. But
No way.
yeah, potholes was like my childhood playground. It was amazing.
I heard that place is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's just the neatest. Like there's nothing else like it, right? It's just a bunch of like ponds.
They're
Insane.
all connected, and you can get to one that's all like party boats. The next one you're catching kokanee. The next one, supposedly you get bass. As a kid, my dad was an asshole, and all we fished for was trout. So I was just constantly disappointed in life. And then you'd get some. Here's what pisses me off about that whole thing is like when I got into bass fishing, I was way later in life, right? And I told my dad about it, and he goes, "Oh, I heard about those fish before. We never fished for them." And I was like, "Yeah, no shit." And then the local lake where I grew up fishing for trout, he's like, "Well, what should I throw?" I'm like, "Well, a lot of people talk about this bladed jig, this chatterbait." He pulled a fucking 8-pounder on his second fucking cast, and I was like, "You fucking dickhead." I could have had a childhood of bass fishing.
Right.
Instead, I was throwing power bait for a fucking 13-inch trout, you asshole.
Dude, this was on. So I fished the tournament this last week, Washington, anyways, was on Banks Lake
Mm-hmm.
and then Roosevelt, which is a
Yep.
section of Columbia, right?
Yep.
You want to talk about trout eaters? That is a
Yep.
7-inch trout that smallmouth spit up
Yep.
on the deck, still alive. That trout was still alive.
Was that
Just
from
started on big
Roosevelt?
bait. No,
Or that was
that
from the
was
other
on
one?
Banks.
Banks.
But either way, they're
How big
they're
was the bass?
that one wasn't. I don't know. He was 3 something.
A 7-inch trout.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's what was so
They're
cool.
all over
And
the
he
place.
ate your lure.
Dude, that's like so that's what if in this tournament in the days of practice, because we could practice on Banks, we couldn't practice on Roosevelt. Roosevelt was off limits for the whole boat deal, but Banks, I saw these bass chasing stuff to the surface, like, and I was like, man, those almost look like baby bass, and I was like, I think they're freaking trout.
Yep.
I think those things are eating trout, and like that's like same deal. It's like there's a couple small lakes in Colorado where bass will eat trout. Definitely not tournament lakes, but these small lakes that'll have like, you know, where guys will go throw big huds and that kind of a thing and catch trout eaters. These smallmouth were straight up demolishing these trout. And when we figured that out and started throwing big baits, like trout style, it was so I have like Bailey will get mad at me on this too. I run the GoPros and then I end up never posting a video because I never got around to editing it and actually posting it.
That's Paul.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. Well, this stuff was wild with the
Yeah.
glide because they're so keyed in on that big bait. It was so much fun. I mean, just schooled up. Just
I think-
demolishing big baits.
I think those are important. So at one point, not only did I do the podcast, I thought I was going to be a bait maker too. So I bought a, I still have, it's actually sitting in front of me. There's a bunch of swim jig stuff, right? And I made this and I never saw anybody in my area throw it. I made like a rainbow trout swim jig. And
No
I'd
way.
go to this lake that stocked rainbow trout and I would fucking slay this shit. And I was like, don't worry, I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna make these videos. I'm gonna make my own fucking jig company. It's also another failure, and why I'm here at the Bass and Brews
Deacon.
podcast.
Deacon, this motherfucker, he got done with the Coast Guard in November last year,
okay.
and he bought screen printing.
Oh my God,
stuff
I
to
didn't.
make
It was
shirts.
given to me. It was given to me.
Okay, it was given to
But
him.
I bought the
He's like, hey
supplies
man,
to
I'm
do
gonna
it,
make
yeah.
Is that your hoodie that's on right now?
No, I didn't do this
Hell
one.
no.
Okay.
No, this one's actually done
Alex
nicely.
Alex goes, I'm gonna make our
Yep.
own t-shirts
Nope.
and long t-shirts.
Nope.
I'm like, sweet man. And then nothing for like 2 or 3 months. I was like, hey
Yep.
dude, what happened to the t-shirts? He's like, yeah, fuck that shit. It's way too hard.
It's hard. I realized when I got out of the military, I don't want to do anything hard. I'm done. I'm
How
done.
how many years were you? With the Coast
20.
Guard?
20. I retired.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't want to. I'm
You're
one of
done
those
now,
folks.
right? Isn't that the whole deal? Is like you
No.
can fuck
No,
off?
I'm 30.
No?
I'm 39 years old. I still have to work.
Dang. So you started when you were like
18. 18 is when I
Hey,
started.
his wife is a postal worker, so you
Yeah,
know they
man.
make bank.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
not enough though, because I made a lot of money in the military. I mean, I'm
Well, but-
making more now as a
Hey,
defense contractor.
If you
but
would move 4 hours south to Virginia, North Carolina, where I am, y'all would be rich.
we would be good.
You'd
But
be
she'll never leave her
carpetbagging
family.
rich.
She'll never leave all her family's in Jersey, dude. And I honestly, being from Washington, I'm the odd man out because I fucking love it here in South Jersey. I think it's fucking awesome.
Do you really? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. People are. I came here. This is my first or my second duty station in the military.
Okay.
Fell in love with it. It's like the woods, but I have Atlantic City is like a half an hour, if that, from me, which is like when I was a youngin. That was like the land of cocaine and strippers. That's amazing. Not that I partaked. Oh wait, shit, I'm out. Never
Partook.
mind.
Partook.
Anyways, no. Like you know what I mean. You have like the beach, and then you have the woods. Everybody's very aggressive in Washington and all the Northwest. A lot of people like tiptoe around their feelings and don't ever express anything, and I fucking think that's annoying. When my family first came out here, they're like, "Oh man, everybody's an asshole here." I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Okay, we get it. We
This
get why you like
motherfucker's
it."
talking about he loves New Jersey because
I
of
do.
the woods and the coast and
Yeah,
all
I
this
do.
and that. I'm telling him to move down to Virginia and in North Carolina,
You guys are
where
too
we
slow.
have like
You guys are
5
too slow.
million more acres
Too
of
slow.
woods.
Too slow, bro. I got shit to do. I got stuff going on. Come on, speed it up.
Here's
That's why your biggest fish is 5 pounds, bitch.
Correct. It sucks up here. Bass fishing is not that great. That's why Mike Iaconelli's a bitch, right? He's not that great.
That is false. Do not. I done told you, motherfucker. I tell you what. First, Deacon, we have never met. Alex and I have never met in person.
We've never.
But the first
We've
time,
done
No
the
way.
show. Yeah,
No.
dude. We've done the
Hey,
show for
dude.
2.5 years.
Andy and I don't think Andy and I have ever met in person. Like we talk on the phone, we
Yeah.
do all these podcasts together.
Yeah,
Bailey and
shit.
I have met a bunch. We've been at classics. all kinds of stuff together.
Andrew wasn't at the classic.
Yeah,
No.
because he's got real
Ah.
shit to
Is he
do.
raising a
He's-
family and guiding, whatever that.
He's
bull-
got a real
I
job as
don't-
a Coast
hey.
Guard qualified captain
Hey,
instead of you Instagram influencers.
That's right.
hey, I had never in my entire fucking life, of 41 years, had ever heard of a glizzy.
Oh,
and
until
and,
Andrew.
and
yeah.
I met
Hot dog.
He was so
a
mad,
fucking
dude.
hot dog. I met them. So I
Oh.
went. The MLF was down here,
Right.
so I went
Red
to that
Festival.
and met up with Bailey and Captain Andrew. And it's getting time for me to go and shit, but it's lunchtime, and hey, let's grab something to eat. And he's like, oh, I can't do his fucking weird ass New York accent. But he's like, oh, look, there's they got glizzies.
Got
I'm like, what
glizzies over there, huh?
the fuck is a glizzy? And I'm like, what the fuck is a glizzy? And he's like, you've never heard of a glizzy? I'm like, no, bitch. What is it? He's like, hot dog. I'm like, why the fuck? It's a fucking hot dog. What the fuck is a glizzy? Why do we have to name one of the greatest food groups ever discovered a glizzy?
I don't know
I mean,
why.
it's hard enough eating a corn dog, but then you're talking about I'm going to eat I mean, because you think of corn dogs and that's like a pecker that hadn't been circumcised, and I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about wieners and call them glizzies? I don't
Glizzies.
understand what the fuck's going on here. But anyway, yeah. So I met him
Okay.
there, and he was lovable and huggable.
so
a good man.
one, Adam, how old are you, if you don't mind?
27.
27. So that's Gen Z, right? Or is that?
I'm right on the cusp. I think I'm.
Yeah,
I'm,
you're on the cusp.
Who the fuck cares what these
No, no,
generations are?
because
You
Gen
motherfuckers
Z-
think
I don't
know
Gen
how
Z,
they- how
Gen
they-
X,
how do you, like-
blah.
No,
this is
because
the problem with
here's
generations. How do you line up? Like, I get like
they're
the
just
reason,
years.
but
Yeah,
if
they're
you're-
just years.
If you're like in between, like, how do you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Well, so
that's not
I'm a
reserved
tweener.
police
I'm
or
a
whatever
tweener.
else.
78 to 81 is considered a zennial.
No, that's
Because
not a
we're
real
not
one.
Gen Z and we're not Gen
That's the
X.
most
We're
millennial
called
thing
zennials.
ever. You're an
because-
elder millennial.
No, we're not, because
An elder
we are
Yes.
the ones that grew up with everything as
I get
a
it.
child.
But I will say Gen Z loves the glizzy thing. And here's what threw me out is when I went on the boat, they said the same thing. They're like, yo, bro, I'm so hungry. We were in the shipyard. You don't have time. Like it's a straight, like it's not a long day. It's like a 7-hour day, right? But you don't get a break for lunch or anything. So it's a straight 7-hour day. And the young, like 20 to 24-year-olds are like, yo, dude, I'm fucking hungry. And one dude's like, yo, bro, I brought those pocket glizzies. And I was like,
Pocket glizzies.
so I'm at the smoke pit. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And what he does is he pulls out a plastic container, which is basically, remember those pocket M&Ms, like the really tiny mini M&Ms?
Right.
He
right.
pulls that out, pops it open, and pulls out a cooked fucking hot dog. Homeboy was packing a goddamn cooked hot dog. And then it became a fucking thing where all these guys were pocking
glizzies.
pocket glizzies.
But that makes sense, though. We don't have to call it a glizzy. We can call it a hot dog. But that makes a bunch of sense because you put that little plastic
Well, I mean, it's
sleeve
military.
in your pockets.
Yeah. We'll
in
make
your
it work.
pockets, and you walk around with it for
It's
like 4 or
cooking.
5 hours, and yeah, it's warm. And now
Yeah,
you're
but
not
they
eating
would go
cold
like
hot dogs.
this. They would go,
Even though
hold on. They would go like this. They'd go, yo, it's glizzy time. And they'd all pop them open, and then they'd go, and they'd eat that motherfucker out of it. And I was like, listen, bro, I'm not trying to be an old man here, but like, we don't do that.
hey,
We
I will
don't
tell you-
eat glizzies out of our pocket.
I will tell you what, though, one of the greatest snacks I've ever had in my entire life is a piece of loaf bread with a cold hot dog in it, smothered
dog.
mustard.
Yeah, dog.
I mean, you know,
Adam.
like after this podcast, when I'm hungry and I don't feel like cooking shit, I ate a hot dog wrapped up in some loaf bread with mustard on it, cold.
That's
It's a bologna roll. It's a miniature.
I think this is going to be a new question, Adam. Let's hear this. Like, I don't know what your feelings are on hot dogs. I fucking love hot dogs. So does Paul.
Okay.
What are your top 3 condiments on a hot dog?
Oh man.
This is a good question. Don't fuck it up. This is the first time this has ever been asked on here.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
new
And this is
question.
probably
Lot
going
of
to
pressure
become a
here.
staple. Yeah.
Condiments on a hot dog. Okay.
If you
number
say
one,
fucking spinach, I'm going to
Don't
stab you.
shut up, Alex, and let me answer the goddamn
I'm not-
question. Shit,
no,
motherfucker.
I'm not.
Damn.
Here we go. Number one, I'm a big fan of mustard. So,
My
Yes,
man.
thank you.
so,
Yes.
My
so like,
man.
and I'm talking like it can be like, don't get me wrong, I like yellow mustard, but if we're talking some like fancy ass
Brown.
mustard, it's
Some
got the
picey.
brown and the dots in it. Like,
Yes.
You know,
Dippin' dot mustard. Dippin' dot mustard.
seed, just mustard seed mixed in here. That's
I
real
want that
shit.
Dippin' Dots shit,
Nah,
bitch.
I want it to be thick mustard. All right.
He's
So,
like,
Crunchy.
Mackenzie,
Thick,
Mackenzie, quit shaving your armpits and put that goddamn Dots mustard on my hot dog.
Mackenzie, if you buy that goddamn French's again, you're out of here.
Listen, I'm tired of the razors and I'm tired of the Frenches.
the dots. Exactly. So,
All right.
so I'm gonna go certainly some good mustard on there.
Yep.
And then this is one, honestly, Kenzie has turned me on to like some of the actual like sauerkraut. I've never been a
Yeah.
sauerkraut fan. I became one over the last couple of years.
Oh, man.
Mm.
Those are, man, there's something
Mm.
like, I don't know, as a kid, I'd never liked it. Now I love it. Like that
Yeah.
stuff's
Yeah.
That shit like adds a whole different dimension.
a mention, man.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
does. It
you
adds
know,
like a crunch to it too. Like
Yeah.
sauerkraut.
If it's done right, yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes I just want to drip some sauerkraut on my woman. God almighty, boy, I tell you what,
Dude, I gotta say this too. The glizzy comment, like there was this friend in college we had. Her name was Lizzie. And,
Oh, Lizzie the Glizzy.
She
Lizzie
loves
likes glizzy.
she loves glizzy. As
Yeah.
derogatory as that sounds, she actually loves hot dogs, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking Costco hot dog.
We do
If
have
we're at a
footage
ball
of her
game-
right now, too.
Music make you lose control. Music make
Exactly. But she like it's just hilarious because same deal. I hadn't heard of glizzies until in college. Talking this, we would just joke that
Just
Lizzie loves
bros.
glizzies. Like that's just what it is.
Oh. Yeah.
All right,
All
well,
right,
sure. This is
last
why we
condiment.
can't. Hold on a second, real quick.
Yeah.
This is why we can't ask questions on this fucking podcast. Is because we ask a question and somebody gets a minute into it and we're fucking off in left field with some other
That's
bullshittery.
We've
Oh,
talked
this is
25
wonderful.
minutes about hot dogs at this point.
Yeah. All right. So your
That's fine.
third top three condiment.
The title of the episode is Adam Deacon goes from Sears Angler to Glizzy.
Glizzy's.
Glizzy City. We're in the Glizzy City right now.
Adam Deacon.
Glizzy City.
no.
Bass and Brews goes to Glizzy City.
This week on Bass and Brews, we welcome Adam Deacon, the Glizzy Gobbler.
The mayor of Glizzy City.
I like how he upgraded himself from a gobbler to he's
Yeah.
like, listen,
I wanna
I'm in a
be a gobbler.
position of
I'm gonna-
power.
I'm gonna be
I'm
in
in
the power. Okay.
I'm setting standards. All right, what's your third one?
All right.
you got,
third condiment's
you got
probably
your glizzy.
pretty
You got your
boring.
mustard. You are brown mustard. You got your sauerkraut. What's on the?
Right. The third is probably just standard ketchup. Like,
Oh, fuck you. You know what? This
You
is-
ruined
you're
it.
off.
You
You're
ruined
done.
it.
what else? Okay, listen.
No.
I'm not gonna add
Relish. Relish,
Yes.
bro.
Sweet
okay.
relish.
Relish.
But no,
Sweet relish.
Here's my
Ketchup.
problem with relish.
You can
Here's
put
my problem with
ketchup-
relish.
you
I
can
love
put ketchup-
I love pickles. I love, and I don't mind
Yeah.
a sweet pickle. That's no problem. The problem I have is like childhood memories of at a sporting events or whatever it is. The like push button relish. That shit's never good to me. I
It's
don't
delicious.
enjoy that.
It's
I
delicious.
don't like that. No, if there was
One-
a better version of it,
It's childhood memories. That was like 2 years ago. You'll get over it. I know you're a youngin.
I was 25.
Hey, big ups. This is not going to be relevant to anybody, but the Phils just tied up the fucking Atlanta Braves game. So let's go, Phils.
Dang.
So ketchup is ketchup.
The
You can
work.
put ketchup on anything except hot dogs and barbecue.
What's
Do
up?
not ruin either one of those two things with fucking ketchup. Hey, Alex, we can
I'm
hear
watching
you.
it here too. I just made a whole.
Awesome game.
Yeah, nobody cares
All right.
about the Phillies.
What about? Have you ever had spicy?
You want to
ketchup?
come down and do that ghost thing?
Yes,
on,
I actually got some in
the
there
full
now
thing?
because when the
Whataburger makes spicy ketchup down in Texas. That's actually
I couldn't find sriracha, and the only sriracha thing that they had close enough was the ketchup sriracha. And if you want
that's a
sriracha,
thing. They make ketchup sriracha.
yes,
Dude, they
but
make-
do not buy it because it fucking tastes like it doesn't
Tomato
taste like
sriracha?
ketchup and it doesn't taste like sriracha.
Hold on. Did you
Like-
mute me?
Yeah, because you were talking to your wife about a fucking baseball game on a fishing podcast.
I just asked her to come down and do the ghost thing. She's getting.
no,
ready.
she's not.
Yeah.
I'm texting.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
texting her
lying.
right now.
I'm
and
lying.
I'm
lying.
I'm asking her. I'm sending her the video and said, Alex said you're about to do this on the podcast.
Also, the sriracha thing is like blown out. Like when sriracha is really good, now it's like in everything because talk about a company that, because you're the businessman, Adam Glizzy Gobbler. Since you're the businessman, talk about a company that didn't patent correctly, right?
Well,
They
no,
didn't patent
here's what
shit.
happened.
I didn't
You
know
what
what
happened.
What happened. I know in the hot sauce world, like Tabasco has some crazy shit, right? Like they keep their peppers on
Yep.
islands and they don't do anything. What
Right.
did sriracha do wrong?
So here's what happened with sriracha is
They
there
didn't
was
do
this
anything.
one pepper farm in the U.S. I can't remember where or what
It was
but
in. It was
there
in
was
right
this-
outside San Jose.
one pepper
No way.
farm that was
Yep.
supplying the peppers to sriracha, and then something happened. They had a tiff or something
Yep.
happened, and this
The
pepper
pepper
farm
farm.
was
Okay.
like, and I don't call it sriracha. The real sriracha is hot cock.
Yep.
Because
Hot
the
cock? That's
hot
the
cock,
name.
because it's
That's
got the
what's on the
rooster on
bottle.
there.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
what
hot
that's.
cock.
I
That's what
always
we
know
always
it's
called it.
rooster.
Hot
Oh,
cock.
dirty fucking mind, Adam.
Yeah, hot
Jesus,
cock.
this is a fucking
Oh,
family show.
Glizzies
jeez.
and the hot cock. Like,
Yeah. Jeez. Lizzie the hot cock glizzy gobbler.
But go ahead. Oh, poor
But
Lizzie.
anyway, yeah, so
we're gonna
something
say,
happened
this
with
can't
this
be shown
pepper
Glizzy
farm.
at this point.
And so something happened with this pepper farm. Like I think they started making their own maybe. And then there was a shortage of hot peppers. And so that's why sriracha's been so fucking hard to find
No,
for the last year.
None of that. So one.
Oh Lord.
So here's what happened.
go ahead,
'cause I
go
was-
ahead, Mr. fucking hot cock.
Here's what happened. One, why I say it's bad branding is because they never trademarked sriracha
Okay.
ever. That was the
That's
company.
why, so there's a bunch of srirachas out there.
Correct. And now what Paul's talking about is
But
specific.
you can't. Okay. Anyway,
Go ahead, Paul.
you can't trademark sriracha because it's a common term. That's why.
No.
When the guy made hummingbird, they told him that he couldn't do hummingbird.
It's hummingbird, right?
It's hummingbird, and the story goes is the guy's like, man, that's the greatest thing. That's crazy. You drop that G or whatever, and he's like, Mom always called it hummingbird. Deacon, you know this story, don't you?
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't tell. I'm a fucking terrible storyteller. But anyway, the guy who created hummingbird
Worst
couldn't do
podcast
the
host
patent
ever.
it or whatever on hummingbird because hummingbird is obviously too general.
I didn't know that.
So
That's
he
crazy.
did hummingbird without the G, and they gave
Well,
it to him.
They could have patented sriracha because there's not a sriracha. Sriracha is a blend of peppers together.
What does sriracha mean? Is there like something behind it here?
No,
Hot
because
pot.
it's a brand.
It's not just like a rooster in some other language.
Nope,
Like,
it's a brand. I can't remember what it means, but it's a brand. And what they fucked up and they didn't patent the name. So that's
Okay.
why there's sriracha everything, right? And then when it comes to the shortage is because the factory was in San Jose, right?
Right.
And they were cranking shit out, and the fumes of it were moving into the city.
No way.
I'm dead ass. I'm being
in
serious.
San Jose.
Yes, people were having issues with like breathing and shit like that because they were getting all this excess sriracha heat blowing into their shit.
No.
I'm
way.
gonna need you to cite your sources on this
I'm gonna
because I
cite
don't
it.
believe you.
CNN, Fox News, and your mom's house. That's where I get all the
Let me
best
look
news,
it up.
Paul.
Sriracha sauce problems.
He's looking it up. It's also
Why is there a
1-1.
sriracha shortage?
Sriracha.
The main
Oh,
goal is
man.
issues with the
Adam
supply.
Glizzy Gobbler's drunk as fuck now.
Can't even say sriracha right when he saw it spelled.
Sriracha shortage. That's hard to say. It's
Yeah.
not that.
It's not that hard to say.
No, the hard
Sriracha
part
shortage.
is they
Sriracha
said-
shortage. Sriracha shortage.
No. Sriracha sauce shortage. Go ahead. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, we are.
Hey,
No,
Adam.
we're not ending. Yeah.
Adam, if you had to stick Alex's toe in your mouth or
Oh.
my nipple, which one would you choose?
Oh God.
Oh, Paul, this is a wonderful question. We should do more often. Hey, just so you know,
this is,
hold on,
this is- I
hold
can
on.
see why Rudd
on.
got to a point to where he just blushed.
Adam,
didn't
Adam,
answer the question.
Adam, I want to give you background on this though. So one,
So this is a question that's been brought up before.
Never.
Nope.
This is the first
Nope,
time this
is
ever
the
been
first
asked.
time. And now I'm going to bring up background on it. So one, Paul is about 6'1", 6'2", 200 and I'm going to guess 40 pounds, right? Used to be a college athlete. And by athlete, I mean he was a punter in college, so not really an
No
athlete.
way. So you had thunder thighs like Bailey.
Yes.
No, I did not have
No, no.
thighs like Bailey. Like his
He
fucking
was
thigh-
the third
I'm
string.
two.
He was the
I'm
third string
270
punter.
right now, and Bailey's thighs are as big as my torso.
Yeah.
On each leg. I did not
So-
have thighs like that.
But he used to be semi-built.
That man
right?
could crack a bowling ball between his thighs.
He could. Are you talking about Bailey?
Yes.
Dude, Bailey could crack the world in his thighs. He's literally Thanos in his thighs.
The camera angle is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, he needs to stop.
Hey, yes,
I
his
understand.
camera angle. I have never seen a man's ass eat more pants than Bailey Eibrecht's on his videos. Every time he
Right?
stands up,
Yeah.
it is amazing. He has
It's right up
britches
there.
at the end of the day fishing because his ass is eating
No,
his
that's-
britches every day.
That's all on purpose. He's doing it for the ladies. He's trying to start Serious Anglers Only Fins.
Serious dangler OnlyFans.
So that's Paul, right?
Hey,
But,
let him answer the question.
Hold on,
Alex.
I'm trying to give him full. So that's the nipple that he's right. He used to do that. Now he's 41.
Okay.
Me, I'm 5'7"
Ish.
ish, and people have called me a hobbit.
5'7" ish.
Yeah.
So what,
so
what
just
does that mean? Like you don't know for sure. You don't.
When he
want to
jumps,
say-
when he
I'm
jumps,
5'8".
he's 5'7". When he's standing still, he's about 4.
I do have very large feet, and they are very hairy.
Mm.
So,
Oh.
mm,
Do you also
mm.
have, do you also have Hobbit style feet? So I have my college roommate. We were roommates forever, dude. After college, roommates for like a couple years after college. His name is Toby. He got married this last year.
Props,
It
Toby.
was a blast of a time. Yeah, Toby's a good dude. He is the same way. He's like 5'7", something in there, right? Little guy, Italian guy, like, great beard, great hair, all this stuff. But like, man, his feet, he has got Hobbit feet.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
we're talking like those things are just thick. Like they're like this tall and they're
I'm
wide
a 10. I'm a 10 foot.
in
wide.
a 5'8" body.
Yes.
So which one are you choosing? You got to choose one.
Yeah.
So initially, my initial thought,
Is to throw up and not have to do either.
yeah, well, number one is to just like
Initial thought is to log off and I'm done.
I'm gonna leave. Number one. Oh, dude, those are both so nasty. The question is, do you clean your feet?
Of course. Yeah. Dude, I was in the military.
Consistently?
Dude, I was in the military. The most important thing is to keep your feet clean because you'll get foot rot and everything will fuck up because you're in boots all the time, right?
Right.
You got to
right.
keep those feet fucking clean, dog.
Hey, there ain't nothing worse than your fucking toenails falling off and then your
No,
socks
dude,
are
we
rubbing
don't
on
fuck
raw
with
ass
that, man.
toes.
Dude, I would change consistently.
Hey, let him answer the question
Yeah.
before we get into toe
He
problems.
asked. He said, "How clean are they?" I
Well,
mean,
But
yeah,
he didn't answer it.
because if a gun is to my head and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, you gotta suck
Okay.
that dude's toes, or you
Yeah,
gotta
or
go
that dude's nipple.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, first of all, horrible situation to be in. If you're at that point in life, you got like, oh boy, you got big problems. But like
You came on here willingly.
for me, I got it. Oh, God, those are just terrible questions. I mean,
there is a right answer to this question.
I think. Well, if the feet are clean, that seems somehow less sensual than touching your nipple, and that's what I'm going with. Even though they're hairy and disgusting, the gun is to my head. That's the direction I'm going.
That's the wrong answer.
So what you're saying is you I can't even say it.
Oh my God! Wait, so you'd rather suck my toe
On a hairy toe.
than a nipple?
My hairy nipple. My nipple looks like pepperoni with hair
We've
on
already
it, though.
covered that you wanted to marry
gross.
Bigfoot. How are you gonna
These
deal?
situations have hair.
Correct.
That's
We're on brand at this point.
Look, here's the funniest
I
part about
can't.
this is it wasn't the question,
Oh.
it wasn't the answer. It was how Adam had to come to the realization of which one he's gonna choose.
Oh my God! It was a real Sophie's
Cleanliness.
choice. Dude,
Oh, this is great.
I don't
we gotta
even
add-
think
You
we
guys have
finished.
legit questions. Like these
Yeah.
these are questions people need to have
well,
answered all the time. It really makes
I
you
just want to
think.
make sure.
Well, hold on, Deacon. There's
These
a
are
reason
new
why
ones.
we don't have no sponsors. It's because of fucking questions like that.
You need
Again,
like
Adam's-
a company that deals with foot hair to be like, all right, we got issues here.
Again, we're getting back to where Adam's like,
Some
man, you
minus
guys
stat
are
7.
so much fun. All right, I'm gonna go back to where I make a
I don't
living
even
off my
think we-
podcast.
I don't think we ever finished his moving to Idaho story though from 25
Yeah, we did.
minutes ago.
Ida
Oh, did-
toe.
Well,
that was it. It was
We
the
covered
decision. It
Ida
was like,
toe.
Ida toe. Oh, my
That's why he went
Glizzy's
there.
an Ida toe. That should be the title of the show. Glizzy's an Ida toe.
Toes, nipples, and glizzies.
Everything Adam Deacon likes. Ida toes.
Adam
Glizzies.
Okay, when did we change the Glizzy Gobbler? Is this
I don't know what
new?
you're talking
Like
about.
10
You
minutes ago.
changed it.
I didn't change a thing. First of all, I'm the mayor of Glizzy Town. There's no Glizzy Gobbler mixed in.
We'll make that happen. Don't worry. We got you.
Hey, Adam, when the last on the 400th episode, what the fuck did I do that made you bust out laughing in the middle of their dialogue before they brought me
I like
in?
how
What the fuck
Paul's
did
trying to
that
make
happen?
sure that people know he's funny.
No,
I'm
no,
trying
I
to-
never said I was funny. I never said that. That whoever
First of
made
all,
that
Paul,
comment.
where'd you get that hat? That hat is sick, dude.
But this is
It
a
is.
duck camp hat my sister got me like 2 years ago.
No way.
And I wore this is my second favorite hat behind my Y'all Look hat.
Does Duck Camp make good stuff? Have you tried any of the other clothing?
this is they make a lot of these rope or grandpa hats, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But
like
they've got a bunch of really cool ass designs. But yeah, my sister got me this one. I think it was last year or 2 years
You
ago.
have a duck
for Christmas.
one too, right?
No, I don't have a duck. Not a
Those-
duck. This is
those
only
guys out
duck
of
camp.
Texas? Where's Duck Camp out of? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Texas.
Is it okay?
I
They
looked
make
it up.
some. Look them up. They make some really fucking cool hats.
They're a little spendy, but they're
They are.
Sure.
But they
but
like
as the mayor of
700
Glizzy Town,
bucks for some waiters. That's
look at the dude. That's
that's
some
badass.
work into that, dude.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
he's already browsing for it.
This
the mayor of
episode is
Glizzy
brought to you
Town.
by Duck Camp. They just don't know it yet.
They don't. Again, use discount code Babcast, and you'll pay $10 extra.
Use discount Babcast, and if you do it enough, maybe they go, "Who the fuck is this Babcast people?"
That's the idea, Paul. That's the idea.
And maybe at one point they'll just be like, all right, we'll give some. We're sick of people coming here and asking to pay $10 more.
People keep doing customer complaints like, I put in my discount code and I still paid normal price. I didn't pay extra. This is bullshit.
Something is off here.
Is that
All
an
right.
antelope over your right shoulder?
Yes,
Did you shoot that one?
I
No.
did. That was
No, he found it at Walmart.
Yeah, I found it. Found it on the side.
Damn, look at that fucking deer. God almighty, that is a hoss there.
It is a big mule deer. And I still have the hide in the freezer. I think I'm going to do a shoulder mount with it, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to try the Euro deal first. So that's what I did.
Dude, you should make a fucking cloak and wear it on your on the
When you
Serious
said
podcast.
shoulder mount, that's kind of what I thought. Like you were just going to start
Mayor-
wearing that
The
big
mayor of
fucking
Glizzy
shoulder.
Town is here.
Yeah, dog.
Hey,
Maybe you could
did-
put those 2 marathon medals on as well.
how does
That
that
literally sounds like what Matt Robertson at the Classic with like literally his coat, and he should just wear his bass medals from
Exactly.
hold on? Are you going to the Classic next year?
Man, we'll see. Probably, I would think so. being
All
that
right,
it's-
then you need to make a cloak out
Yep.
of that mule deer hide and wear your medals
Yep.
and walk
Just walk
around.
around.
Yeah,
with
look,
sunglasses
Passing
on.
out hot dogs.
and look, let's be real. It's a
Pocket
bunch of
dogs, man.
Pocket dogs, bro.
handing pocket dogs out. Look, you
Throwing them out.
people would have no idea who the fuck you are, but I guarantee you would have a line behind you like Kevin Van Dam for people wanting to take pictures. And people like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm just Adam Deacon from Serious Angler.
I'm the mayor of
Podcast
Glizzy
Network.
Town.
There it is. He says, I'm just the mayor of Glizzy Town. You should listen to the Serious Angler.
Glizzies for
popping out
all the
pocket
women.
Glizzies.
Yo, that's the alter eagle or eagle. Jesus, I'm drinking.
Eagle,
It's
yes.
an alter
You're
eagle.
talking about me drinking.
That's the alter,
alter
eagle.
eagle.
You're right. That's the alter eagle of business on the back boat of a bass boat.
Yes.
It's just the
Yes.
mayor of Glizzy Town.
With his mule deer
Under
cloak.
the coat, I've just got a business from the Bass Boat logo, and I'm
Yes.
the
Oh,
mayor of Glizzy
yeah.
Town.
But it's not a shirt, it's a tattoo. And you're
On my
shirtless.
chest with a hairy chest. It literally
Yes.
just says the-
Yes.
Yep. Or you could actually fire brand the Glizzies with their
Oh
logo.
my god!
Oh,
Straight
hey,
Glizzy brand.
you're throwing out glizzies at the Bassmaster Classic like they're
Don't do
Mardi
that
Gras
again.
beads.
Don't do that again, Paul.
What?
That's not how they throw them out.
Yeah.
No, that's how you throw out a glizzy, though.
That's how you fling glizzies. That's how you fling-
Glizzlies? Glizzlies?
We talking about
Listen,
Think about
grizzly bears.
Glizzy and the glizzies.
Listen, when you marry one, you call him a glizzly. When you're just dating one, it's a glizzy.
Well, I'd much rather run into a grizzly bear than a grizzly bear any day.
I would agree. One has teeth and one has hot dogs.
Wieners.
Well, no, I mean, all right. To be serious, like grizzly bears aren't going to rape you. A black bear will, though.
Hey, I tell you what,
Black barrel rape you?
he doesn't
Look it
know.
up. Look it up.
Oh,
Look, here's
Dude,
the
we gotta
thing.
start fact checking.
I told you.
We
Deacon,
need-
I've been trying to tell you.
We
you
need
have
a
to fact
Joe
check.
Rogan. We
Look
need
at-
a Joe Rogan.
right here.
Jamie.
Look it up.
Jamie, look it up. Jamie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Jamie,
Off to
you
the
check
But
that out.
Alex is Jamie. Hey, here's the deal with a grizzly bear. Grizzly bears can't climb trees. So if you get in a tussle with a grizzly bear and you can't win, if you can't jug his eyeballs out with a knife or your fingers,
Better
climb
the
a tree. They
Yeah.
can't climb trees. But black bears will climb that tree and still fuck
Yeah.
you up.
Huh? I've seen black bears climb trees, but I haven't seen of grizzlies. But I just figured a grizzly's just even more of an alpha predator than a black bear is. I figured they could climb. They could take down the tree. Like, you got to worry about
Yeah,
them
they
just
don't give a
chopping it down.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's-
I mean,
no,
wait,
bitch,
hold on.
They ain't no fucking
No, he's right.
what's-
No,
Paul
he's right.
Bunyan.
No, he's right. Adam's up there, mayor of Glizzy Town, pocket full of fucking pocket glizzies. That
Hairs
fucking
are all
grizz-
over me because of my glizzies. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
dude.
throw them out of my pocket.
That glizzy bear is gonna chop down the tree
He's coming for it.
All he wants is your wiener.
until he finds out that he's got ketchup on it, and then he's like, "Fuck this," and he's done.
Then he's like, "Ah, man, all these other condiments are so good." What an idiot!
Dude, there's nothing more disappointing to a glizzy bear than having, ketchup on his glizzy.
Dude, okay.
He's
now
gonna
that
leave
we haven't,
He's
talked
not going to
about
be
cheese
mad.
at all.
He's just going to be disappointed in you.
Honestly, that's worse. That's so much worse. That's like the low of lows. So when someone
Yeah.
says they're disappointed in you, it's like at least be mad, just yell at me irrationally. I don't.
Dude,
wanna
that
be
was my favorite when I was in the military. That was my favorite move.
What having people be disappointed? Or you
Dude,
say
they would.
disappointed in people.
Dude, they would continue to fuck up, right? And I know they were like good sailors and shit like that, right? And then it get to the point where like yelling at them wouldn't work or whatever. I just sit there and I'd be like, listen, like I'm so upset because like I know you're so much better than this, and I'm just disappointed in your
Oh,
performance.
dude, that's daggers. When someone says that to you, that's like, that's
Especially when a midget says it to you.
it is double daggers.
Double
When
daggers.
you have to look
because we gotta
down
throw
at the
it-
man telling you that he's disappointed in you,
You're like,
that will make your soul leave your body.
Listen, props to I don't know if she listens. Props to Garcia. Before I got out, it was like the tail end of my career, right? The last 6 months. Somehow I had to go to a boat. And I had to, on the boat, you get the youngest of the young that come in. And I had a 19-year-old young lady who worked for me. She was 6'3", 6'4", Mexican lady. I mean, I love this girl. She actually taught me a lot about being a leader because I had to deal and being a father because there was a lot to deal with her. But there was a whole lot of like, hey, hey, I'm disappointed in you.
I'm so
She was
upset with
so
you right
god-
now.
At one point, I really did enjoy working with her. But my kids made me bracelets when I got to come home at one point. And they made some extra bracelets for her. And they go, hey, this is for the brown giraffe. And I was like, kids, what do you mean? She goes, she's really tall and she's brown. I'm like, yeah, she's Hispanic, but she's not that tall. And my oldest went, no, she's really tall.
Hey, his kids are savages.
They are.
They used to ask Alex, Daddy, what is Paul saying?
Based on something you said on the show.
No,
Well,
just
no,
they
just
couldn't
in general,
fucking
me
understand
talking.
him.
They couldn't understand what I was fucking saying.
Yep.
They
Yep.
couldn't understand my accent.
Yep. But they've also
He had to
done
translate.
so kids have the worst savageness where they'll be like, we were in a grocery store and we were picking up groceries and there was a lady that walked by and she had a whole cart full of goldfish. Very large lady in a motorized cart full of goldfish. And as we're walking by with the cart, my oldest goes, well, we need to pick up goldfish, right? I'm like, yep. And she goes, well, I hope there's some left because she took a whole lot. And I was like, maybe there's something. She goes, I don't think she needs that much. And I was like, you're goddamn right. But yeah, no, it was.
We don't judge people, sweetie, but you're right.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the weird part, right? Because you do basically have to say that, like, don't judge people, but judge the shit out of her. like,
how do you come across of being like, here's what the right thing to do is, but I'm with you.
yeah,
That lady's crazy.
The
Dude,
easiest thing to say is, honey, just say that to yourself, not out loud.
yes. I was about to say,
That's good. I like
dude,
that.
dude, as a parent, you have to deal with that on a daily basis. Of kids have no filter, and you have to, you want to teach them not to be feral, fucking people, right?
Right.
But as an adult, you're like, bitch, you shouldn't fucking have that many. That's not a diet. You are worse than Chinese high seas drift netters when it comes to catching goldfish, because you're eating them fucking all. You're like a baleen whale.
Look, you got to look at it from a fishing standpoint, since this is a fishing podcast. Them goldfish were schooling, and she had to get them while they were schooling, because once they stopped, she wasn't gonna catch them no more.
Yeah, but I bet you she wasn't using a jerk bait.
She was pulling them and putting them in bags.
Yeah, that's a good one, Alex.
I like how it's a dead silence.
That's terrible. It's fucking worst thing that's been
I
said
think
on
everyone
this
was a
podcast
little
all night.
confused, is all it was.
Yeah.
I just meant she wasn't
because it was
jerking.
terrible.
She wasn't
We
jerking
shouldn't be
anybody
picking
off.
on what people eat. Maybe that's all she could afford.
She was frying them up. Is that what you mean? She was frying up the
could have
goldfish?
She was frying them up.
Oh, motherfucker, deep fried goldfish. I'm fucking doing that this weekend. I'm making deep fried goldfish this weekend.
No, Paul, do it this weekend and videotape it. That actually sounds fucking delicious.
That would
It
go
does sound
viral.
delicious.
That
Yeah.
would go viral.
Have you?
I'm giving all the credit to Adam Deacon.
You should. Adam, have you had the pretzel goldfish?
They're
No.
trash.
Goldfish makes a pretzel?
Dude, it's amazing.
It's a
Company
goldfish
Like, I mean,
made out of a
all
pretzel.
I've known is like the regular goldfish, the
Yeah.
extra cheesy, and then the pizza ones. But they make
No,
a
there's
pretzel one?
way more, but pretzel is the goat, I think. Paul doesn't agree, but I think because
It's
you
like
get
a
a little.
goldfish shaped pretzel.
Yes, as a small goldfish. Oh my god, goldfish pretzel, but then it has like 2 chunks of like chunked salt on it. It's fucking amazing.
So, Deacon, this is the time in the show where Alex is going to be slurring his words
Oh,
through
yeah,
the
absolutely.
shotgun round. So, just
I already
FYI, if
What's
you
funny
can't,
is I
if you
talked
can't
to Paul.
understand what he's saying, just wave your hand and I'll translate.
Okay.
I talked to
Thank you.
Paul.
Appreciate that.
So I talked to Paul. I'm not feeling well. I've been sick, right? I was like, Paul, I'm gonna be pretty mellow tonight. It's all you. But then once I saw this beautiful face, like, how can I not get excited?
Oh boy, here we go.
I mean,
I like
look,
how
it's-
he's so shy about it. He's
he's drinking
very
a fucking
Ken.
Nalgene bottle of vodka right now.
That's right. This one's vodka. This one's tequila. We've got.
Oh, wait. Hold on. This kid shit on hiking, but he's got a Najaline fucking bottle.
Hold on. A what bottle?
Najaline.
Did he? This motherfucker.
Oh,
No,
How do you?
Najaline?
no,
Did you just
I
call
just
it
I just
Najaline?
kicked Alex out. This motherfucker just said Najaline.
What?
This
It's like
I'm trying to let you back in, knucklehead. This dude, oh my god! Now we're in. This man just said Najaline.
Hey,
What
at
is
least
it?
I don't have a million stickers all over it that says "I love hiking."
wait, hold on. What is
Leave
it
no
pronounced
trace.
like? What is it pronounced like?
Nalgene, bitch.
Najaline.
Najaline.
L.
Vagiline. It's all the same.
Oh,
Look.
my gosh.
Deacon, I just tried to warn you. When he's trying to shake out the last little
It's
bit
empty.
of liquor in that cup, see, he can't talk anymore.
The same way here.
See, that's why y'all should drink
Mm.
White Claw Surges, because I still got like half a 12-pack.
Hey, this
Are the
episode-
surges like the higher alcohol content?
They
This
are.
bitch has
yeah.
got 8 alcohols in them, man. 8.
Oh, I think we talked about this before. Paul.
Yes, we did.
Here's what
They're
I
famous.
did. You want to talk about high level of alcohol percentage? Have you ever had these cut waters?
Yeah, dude, they're so good.
Too
so
much,
good.
too
The-
much
the
sugar.
margarita. Well,
Yeah, too
I
much
agree.
sugar. They fucked me up.
Yeah, here's what I did. So this is a 14%. I found out about these. This is going to sound so gay in Colorado, but basically the whole skiing thing. These are awesome because they're 14%.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. I added tequila to this because it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
really, 14%. I'm probably at I don't know, 20%.
One.
High
That's
level.
not how alcohol works.
It is.
Well, I mean, I'm talking. I poured tequila, which is what 40%. So I
Well, it
poured
depends
that
on which
into
one.
a
Well, you
14
It
drink
does
cheap
depend.
ass tequila.
percentage,
Right.
right? I'm getting it right.
You're right.
I
Have
don't know. I
you-
can't do math.
Have you guys ever had a ranch
Damn,
water
this is weird.
mixed
Hold on.
drink?
No, I've had ranch waters before, like the ones that are just like the soda
No.
water. And
No,
tequila.
no. Yeah,
They
yeah,
make a
yeah.
mixed drink one. I've had.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
had
so-
like
Well, they don't make one. You can just make one yourself, right?
you just
and
add
it is.
tequila to a ranch water.
Well,
hey, Deacon,
it's,
I'm
no,
going to
no,
give
no.
you some advice.
Paul,
You're
Paul, hold on.
27. You're 27.
Wait,
when
are you talking the original? Like in college, I was
You
making
just
ranch
interrupted
water
me.
before ranch water came
Yeah,
out. You're
so
talking just tequila
like the
and soda
ranch water is a mixed drink, right? It's not like a pre-packaged, right? It's an actual drink like a rum and Coke, right?
Hey, will you
Right.
fucking quit saying right after every goddamn phrase, please?
Right. Anyways,
oh my
it's
god,
my
I'm
new
about to have a
favorite
fucking
drink.
Caesar salad over here if you keep
It's
doing
my
it.
new favorite mixed drink.
Big
It's
fan of them.
it's
I'm
two
with you.
shots of Blanco tequila, one
Mhm.
shot of lime juice,
Yep.
and then Topo Chico on
Boom.
top.
Dude,
Right?
you're talking my language right
Dude,
now.
you mix that up.
Southwest, like, oh yeah.
Oh,
this is-
dude, it's so good. I am 39 years old. I just discovered this 2 weeks ago. It is my favorite drink. I don't know how
it's
I
light,
went the whole
too.
summer
You don't
without
feel
it.
like you can literally just
Dude,
like, oh, it's so
dude,
good. You're
I
speaking
missed it over the summer, right? Like mow the lawn, ranch water. That's instead of my bush, like 9 bush lights, because they're garbage, right? I could have just been doing that. Go ahead, Paul.
dead on.
In college or in high school, I learned this drink we called Sprite-ka.
Okay.
It was
Sprite.
vodka, Sprite,
Yeah.
and lemon juice.
Yeah, yeah.
So you take a solo cup, you fill it half full of vodka. You put the next third of it is Sprite, and
Yep.
then 2 caps of lemon juice
Yep.
concentrate. You mix it up.
Right.
Sprite-ka.
I like it.
It takes the vodka. Like you can't taste the vodka. It's dangerous.
That's a
There's
problem.
like it.
That's
it
why
takes the vodka
it's not as good as the
completely
ranch
away.
water. That's why it's
Dude,
not as good as the ranch water. The ranch water, you can taste the tequila, but it doesn't like burn, and there's no,
No.
added sugar
No
because you're using
hangover. There
no
is
hangover.
no-
Yeah, dude.
Mm.
No, dude,
Hey,
Paul.
that was
I'm
my
telling
college drink. You nailed
Really?
it to a T.
Really?
Before ranch water was a thing. Yeah. You can ask my
Paul,
college buddies. I would just
next
have
Where'd you
week-
go to
tequila,
college?
soda water, and a lime. I went to Colorado State
Mm.
in Fort Collins.
you. Yeah, he never got a hangover because he was just high the whole fucking time.
That's right.
Um,
Big,
Hey,
Colorado.
I will tell you this, Deacon. I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice since you're a little bit younger than I. If you keep drinking
You get
liquor
the
like you're
gout.
drinking it now, at 40 years old, you're gonna start getting gout in one of your big toes,
No, you won't.
and you're gonna want to chop that motherfucker off.
Thank God you didn't.
And
try
then you're
to
gonna
suck
start
his
drinking
toe.
White Claw Surges
Oh shit! Sounds like a great
because you
gout
don't get
episode.
the gout.
Oh
All right.
Hey, have you ever been kicked in the nuts?
yeah. I think
You
so.
have?
The most memorable time of getting hit in the nuts was it in a lacrosse practice, dude. I got drilled with a lacrosse ball,
Uh-huh.
absolutely in the sack, and I literally just. Have you ever done the whole bouncing on your butt thing to get your
Yeah.
nuts back out of your stomach? Oh, dude, the most
Okay.
painful.
Wait, no.
Okay. Well,
So-
here's
so it's
the
a
deal.
thing.
Here's
I
the
did the
deal.
podcaster thing. I was like, yeah. Wait, no. No.
Yeah,
no,
for
no,
sure,
no, whoa,
for
whoa,
sure,
whoa.
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
I did
Cool.
not.
yeah,
Wait a
I
second.
did not agree
What
with
are you
that.
talking about?
I will tell you this:
This
the shot to the nuts you took, you would want 10 of those before you got 1 minute of gout.
is that bad. So Toby, the guy I was talking about earlier, his dad has gout.
Okay.
He talks
Yeah.
about.
Well, let
His
me tell you
balls
something.
hurt all the time.
Gout hurts to no end. No ibuprofen, Tylenol, Aleve, nothing alleviates the pain. It hurts so bad when you pull your sock on, you don't even have to touch anything. Just your sock raking across the skin of your big toe hurts.
So it's only your big toe. Is that how gout
well,
works?
no, it can get in any of your joints, but majority of people it attacks their big toes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
it fucking sucks.
That's terrible.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
it's
changing
terrible.
the episode.
Glizzy's
Adam-
gout.
The
and
mayor of
listen to
Glizzy Town learns about gout.
gout.
What an educational series. This is incredible.
Well, on that educational
business from the gout show.
Oh,
Oh, that's just gross. It's just you with your foot out. Anyways,
I do have pretty feet though.
no, you don't.
Hey,
I don't need
hey,
to see
Don't do
I
it.
love. Hey,
We get
look,
lower
I love
views.
going barefoot.
Stop.
Like,
we get
I,
lower views.
I leave out of the house sometimes and get to the store, the gas station, wherever I'm going, and I look down. I get out the truck and I go, God damn, I ain't got no fucking shoes on. But this is why. Look at the corns I built up.
It's so gross. He's gonna do it. We can't see it. Oh, ugh.
Yeah, that's gnarly. No thanks.
But I can walk. Oh my God, my grip stick fell. Hold on. I bought
Oh.
this at the Classic.
Hey, Bass and Bruce, brought to you by Gripstick. We bought one at the Classic, and it's been in every episode.
I bought one thing besides food at the Bassmaster
Poor-
Classic, and
Poor
it was
Adam
a fucking
thought
grip
he was
stick.
gonna get. Poor Adam thought he was gonna get on a real podcast. He started off so
You're
strong.
This has been fantastic.
This is one of my favorite evolutions of an episode because you were so locked in business style, and then towards
You
the
loosened
end,
up.
yeah. And as we got you loosened up, we're gonna hit the end because this is the perfect point.
Wawa remix.
Yep, we're about ready to hit the patent pending shotgun round, but before we get there, because this round is so important, because here's what happens: the Brewskis, you know, the fans of the Bass and Brews podcast are a very welcoming bunch, but they are a fickle bunch. And this is the only point in the show where they will judge you. And you either hit, man, it feels weird to say this part with
It
him
does,
here.
it does,
It does. You're either going to get the highest highs to be a serious angler, or you're going to hit the lowest lows into the dark waters.
And this is no lie. This is exactly what we've been saying for months. Like,
For months.
we use the serious angler as
It's
as
the
what
highest
you
high.
can achieve
I
with these
appreciate it.
questions.
Yep. Well, I mean,
But
we said
first-
serious angler. That means the main show. But before we get there, is there anybody or
God
any
damn.
anything you'd like to shout out before we get to these questions?
Oh
He's
man.
like, none of my sponsors. I would
And
like
on
to
that,
shout out
we're not gonna mention anything in public. No.
my wife,
No, man.
Kenzie.
More than
That's
anything,
it.
I'll shout out. I will shout out Bailey and Andrew with the Serious
Yeah.
Angler. Good group to hang out.
Yep. Good thighs and one guy who's a really great overall angler who's underrated. That's Andrew because he's a captain. None of you
Yeah.
guys are.
It's
Yep.
true. The captain.
All right. Anybody else?
Bonafide.
That's all we got.
All right. I mean, I want to shout out Mackenzie. Grow them hairs, girl.
Oh my gosh. The door. Make sure she's.
All right. So we're gonna
This
get
is
into
the one
this.
podcast of his she's going to listen to because he was a real guest.
I'm gonna
Right.
find her on Instagram. I'm gonna look for hiking photos in Idaho. We're gonna find her.
Yeah, we're talking.
All right. So here's how this is gonna work. We're gonna ask you a series of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I don't need an explanation. This isn't your platform to become the mayor of Glizzy Town. We already know you're there. We just need you
got
to give
voted
us. We just need you to give us your honest answer, and then we'll kind of respond from there. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You gonna pay more?
Oh,
You gonna pay more for a reel or a rod?
Oh man, certainly a rod.
My man.
yeah. See, that's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that's what I expected from him. Was
You can
rod
make a
for
cast with a freaking the cheapest Black Max
Ugly
Revo
stick.
just as
You're
far
good.
without any
Yep.
brakes on as you can with anything else.
Wacky rig or Texas?
Okay, so this is one that I have changed my stance on because of the Delta of all places. I am now a wacky rig guy.
My man. There we
I
go.
will throw that thing anywhere.
That's
is-
Alex knows how to throw two lures,
Yep.
a wacky rig. Well,
swim
he throws
jig.
it a Nico
Weighted.
rig, or
Rainbow
a weighted
rainbow
wacky.
trout swim jig.
Yep.
No, and a swim jig.
Yep.
But half the swim jigs he cast break off on the cast.
What?
That's no
Well,
lie. This
my
motherfucker
knots
can't
ain't that
tie a
great.
knot for shit. He's in 20 years in the Coast Guard. This motherfucker can't tie a jig on.
That doesn't make any sense. What
None.
knot do you tie?
Paul's
It's a double
exaggerating.
overhand.
You change it?
No, Paul's exaggerating. I change it. I just
Like, oh,
whatever.
man, this time I'm going to keep trying new things until one of them sticks.
Listen, if you can't tie a knot, you tie a lot.
Oh, my God.
Crocs or flops?
I'm a flops guy.
Oh
Ugh,
man,
that's
I took you for
gross.
a Crocs guy.
No, that makes sense. He wanted to suck on my toe.
You got
he loves
little
toes.
bitch
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he
Flops
loves
got
my
little-
toes.
more airy
Yeah,
now.
see, you got little bitch feet.
Got a little
Can't
bit-
take them Crocs.
All right.
I don't
You're
have
heading.
I know that.
What
None
happened,
of it has
Alex?
to go.
Cut you off?
What?
Huh?
I said
I'm
I
sorry.
don't have gout toes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm colorblind. I can't hear. My bad.
You're heading to the water.
Okay.
Is it slow jams or is it hype music?
Oh man, it's hype music for me. all day
What
long.
does that mean?
Yeah,
for you,
27 years old. What's your hype
Yeah.
music?
Dude? Okay, I think this would surprise people.
Oh,
Most
shit,
of the
this
time,
is the most excited he's been in the whole
He
fucking
did.
podcast.
He moved
Most
the
of
whole
the time-
fucking mic.
most
He
of
went,
the time,
holy
man,
shit.
it's like it's probably like 80s. It's some kind of rock music. Like that's probably my hype music.
Is Guns N' Roses the most overrated 80s music band
I
alive?
think so. I
Yes,
think
Guns
I
N' Roses fucking sucks. I hate their music. They suck. It's the worst fucking 80s, 90s music out there. Fuck Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of bands out there to me
Wow.
that are just big names because they had one hit or something. But yeah,
So,
there's
so
not-
what is it for you?
there.
What's on the constant rotation for you?
Oh man, this is going against with literally what I just said as far as Guns N' Roses being overrated. I'm
This is
not.
why
I don't
we ask
listen
it.
to
This is why we ask it. Yeah.
but,
He's about to say some fucking, Blondie or something. Even
Yeah.
though Blondie's
yeah, I
fucking
listen
awesome.
to Blondie. That's my 80s
That-
pumping jam.
I touch
no.
myself. That's not Blondie, but anyway.
That's
you
not
know what I'm
Blondie.
saying.
I was gonna say, who's that? Who's that?
I can't remember. It was a one-hit wonder, but it wasn't Blondie. But Blondie got some goddamn fucking good music.
Blondie was like the first chick punk band, basically.
Yeah, she was the mother of punk.
Mm-hmm.
Mother of punk.
What do you
Dude,
got? Quit looking at your phone.
I just got text here. No, for
It's
me,
Mackenzie. She's like, I threw out all the racers. I got you,
I was
babe.
supposed to have dinner an hour ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, all right.
That'd be good.
It's Idaho. They got nothing else to do.
Hey, we got time. I mean, dude, I like anything. I mean, I'm an AC/DC fan, which is like
Okay.
another one
Mhm.
that I think is overrated to some
It
extent.
is?
I like
That's
a
all
lot
right, though.
of their stuff.
Bitch,
I
they're
don't.
like the top 5 most.
They're overrated,
Ball-
but yes.
Oh my
like
god,
they're
no, they're
like,
not.
they're
Okay, well,
over.
like-
All right, I'm sorry. we
Honestly,
can't-
I think they make so many better songs than Back in Black
Yep.
and like all these
Yep.
their popular hits. I think there's so much more than that.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
best.
I have been to 2 concerts in my entire life.
What?
And it was Michael W. Smith and Jars of Clay.
You've been to 2 concerts in your entire life.
Yep, and the second one was fucking
Jars of
AC/DC.
clay. Jars of clay.
No, Jars of Clay opened for Michael W. Smith
Jars of
at
clay.
Carowinds in North Carolina, South Carolina, Carowinds. And
I
the
can't
other
breathe.
podcast and the other concert, only other concert I've ever been to was
man.
AC/DC, and they were goddamn fucking phenomenal.
What year
Great.
did you see AC/DC?
That would have been 2001.
That's cool, man.
It was fucking wild as shit.
Well, speaking of music, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, this is so controversial. I like pineapple, so I like it on pizza. It's fine.
Yeah, my man.
Ugh.
Dude, I
I'll
live in
eat it.
Jersey.
Yeah, I'll eat it if it's free, but I fucking damn sure
No,
ain't
I'll
ordering
order it.
bitch.
Like not in Jersey. 'Cause
What
they,
is
like,
what is
scoff at
Jersey
you.
known for? Like obviously,
Pizza.
pizza. New
Pizza
York
and-
is a big thing, but
It's,
it's the
well,
same.
it's known
so-
for Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's the only
It-
thing in Jersey that is worth anything.
So South Jersey. I live in South Jersey, right? I live like 45 minutes away from Philly, so we kind of latch onto everything there. So we
like
have a Philly
steak- yeah, the
cheesesteaks.
yeah.
Yep. Philly style pizza, which is very similar to New York style pizza. It's a little different, but it's very similar. But I grew up in Washington, and I fucking love a goddamn Hawaiian pizza. It's like, I think it's fucking awesome.
I like Hawaiian pizza. Pizza, I like that. We're good.
When
with
we
that.
make pizza at home, it's me and my 2 daughters making that, and my wife just looking at us like a piece of shit.
Do you make it in an oven, or do you have one of those fancy pizza oven deals?
I have a pizza oven, actually.
Dude, I've always wanted one of those things. Those things are sweet.
We pulled the trigger on that not too long ago. We pulled the trigger on it because of a Bluey episode, which is a kid's cartoon, and
Yes.
it's fucking amazing.
That is really.
Yeah. It's fucking, dude. It's life changing. I have a propane pizza oven. It's fucking amazing.
That's wild. That
So
sounds
look,
like
if y'all have
and
Aldi,
it'd be fun with kids too, right? Because you could like make your own and decide. Like, what you-
Correct. They make their
Yeah.
own. We throw it in. Like, it's going to be great next year, though, because it was such a hit. I think we're going to convert the barbecuer where it's at to a full like pizza oven deal. So,
Dang.
Yeah.
this man just called his fucking grill a barbecuer.
well, I mean, it's a
Asshole.
grill. You're right. It's not a barbecue. It's a grill.
There's no such thing as a fucking barbecuer.
Okay. I mean, there is, but
No, there's not.
well, where you're at, anyways.
Hey, if y'all have an Aldi, go get their Meat Lovers Thin Slice Pizza. It is probably one of the best pizzas you'll ever eat in your entire life. It's in
Is
the
that like a
rib
chain?
section.
Aldi is.
Aldi,
Aldi.
ALDI.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Okay.
not a. I don't think they have them on the West Coast.
Gotcha.
They're
Sound like-
Swedish.
What's
their
funny
fucking
is we
pizzas are
get
phenomenal.
somebody from the West Coast where I gotta like because I understand you guys don't have the same chains. Like you guys have Safeway, right?
Oh yeah, we got Safeway. Well, I didn't know this. Like the whole Albertsons deal in the Boise area, dude. Like holy shit! Like that's like
Yes.
the founder, right? Is
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
there
What
was
the fuck's
there
an
was
Albertsons?
very,
Is that
like
a gas station?
Albertsons was like junk in
Yep.
Colorado. Like it's
Yep.
very few. of them. Dude, here I
It's
went
the
to
king.
Albertsons and went to like the bar upstairs. It was a legit bar above the grocery store.
Yep.
They had trivia night with all these BSU students. I was like, this is sick. This is a
Yep.
freaking class. Like, holy,
So-
I've never
so
seen anything like it.
You got hammered with the Mormon students while Kenzie was down there shopping for your
That's
family
exactly
to eat
right.
for a week.
She was, that's exactly, you nailed it.
Hey,
The only
honey, I
problem
need
is
to
there
go
was
upstairs and find the
tons-
bathroom. An hour and a half later, hey, I'm checking out. Where the fuck are you? Line at the bathroom. I'll be down in a minute.
It's been a really long time. Up here.
But
I had
the
to
only
shit
problem
so
is
bad. I ate
if he
too
would
many
have
Glizzies.
stayed. If he would have stayed 3 more hours, he would have been molested. So
Apparently. Now I'm like
Um,
curious. I'm like nervous. I need to start doing some research, apparently.
you should. But anyways,
I feel like New Jersey's got some sketchy stuff, though.
oh, we do. Yeah.
Not about it. But
I mean, not
apparently
like
it's
that
been
though. We just
molested.
kill people with cement boots.
Well,
Next question.
It got real quiet on that one. Everybody's real talkative about pedophilia. Everybody's real happy about
Well,
that. but-
hey, the problem is with cement boots is Alex fucking drown in a mud puddle if they gave him cement boots.
I have actually recovered somebody from the Delaware River with cement boots.
that was dead.
Correct.
That
We were when you have
I'm gonna
somebody
need
jump.
the date.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
he
can
legitimately
cross-reference
had
this.
cement boots on, like someone.
Yeah,
had
yeah.
that
So I was
boots.
working a search and rescue case. We had 4
I
people.
thought you were just fishing. You're saying this
No.
happened. On the job.
No. This is when I was in the Coast Guard. So we had 4 people missing, and part of the deal, once we can't find them, is we start kind of dragging the bottom, looking for folks, right? And we didn't find those folks. What we did find was 2 other people that had cement fucking shoes, and this is in 2016.
Holy cow! Not that
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're not talking mob days. Like we're talking. Like
No,
recent.
this is recent. Yeah,
So how do you drag the bottom? Like do you just drag chains?
a
Like, how
drag.
do you-
Yeah.
Have you ever
exactly
seen
that.
Mike Long videos?
Exactly.
just Mike Long and the people, man.
Yeah. So
Except
people
the
don't
hooks,
know.
except the hook's not quite as big as Mike Long's.
What people don't know is Mike Long is actually a chief petty officer in the Coast Guard now. This is what we employ him to do, is just dragging treble on the bottom. But it's very similar, actually.
Get at it.
It's not a big chain. It's actually a big treble, and we will run that thing, bounce off the bottom, and then you kind of run a grid pattern to find them, and you wait for the hooks to catch the body.
Do
and
you
then
catch
bring
all
'em up.
kinds of stuff? Like
Yep.
not just people.
Yeah, we catch a lot of people, but we catch like cars and other shit.
I bet, dude. Like,
Yeah.
okay, but why not? I would assume because what I've always heard from some of the Garmin guys at like the Classic or something was like the technology with like live scope and
Yep.
forward facing sonar has been around in the military
Mhm.
Yep.
much longer. Than
Yep.
what
And
you
it's
guys
way
use that
better.
shit too? Like, are you just like looking
No.
around?
So
You
you'll
just do
use the
old style?
sonar. No. So you do the sonar to find like a bump, right? But a body actually doesn't pick up that well just due to the buoyancy because it'll basically look like a dead body will look like a grass mat.
Rock or something. Okay.
Or no, grass mat
Interesting.
because it's not solid. So the beams don't fully.
Gnarly.
Yeah, I actually know way too much about this probably to discuss this, but you'll run through, right? So you'll find a mass and then you'll just drag a big treble through and try to drag up what's underneath. And sometimes you get, and then the bodies, a lot of times, it depends on how long they've been in there. They could be, it's kind of like fishing, right? How the longer they're in there, they're going to change their water column.
Oh,
Because
my
when they
gosh.
first hit, they're going to hit the top. And then as decompression starts to hit, they'll sink. And then as it starts to go over, as crabs and other shit eat it, they'll start to hit the middle of the column. So
You're saying they're just floating halfway through?
yeah,
No,
because
way.
there's enough gases built up in your body, plus the mass of your skin that's been eaten away from creatures down below, will make you just kind of float in the middle.
So that's how
there's
people like catch those things. Like that's
Yeah.
the stories. Like, because I'm just thinking in my head, like you're reeling in a bait, and you're like, oh gosh, dang it, it's a stick or something. I'm
Yeah.
snagged, whatever
it's a
it is.
body. It's a
And
leg.
it's dark, and then next thing you know, you just see a human skull or something.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
that would scar me for life.
Yeah, dude.
Would you quit fishing?
No, absolutely not. I
Nope,
had a,
that's how it works.
Would that be?
I was fishing a tournament, and a guy legitimately tried to commit suicide on the lake while I was fishing
Yeah.
the tournament, and that was a whole deal. Had to call in 911 and life
South
support
Carolina.
helicopter
Yeah.
came in, all kinds of stuff. But like during the tournament, got back on and we finished third. That's what's crazy is like I think something people don't think about enough is like getting on these lakes and these places, and there's crazy shit that can happen anywhere, man. Like you
I
gotta
think
ready.
when it comes to water as a whole, after 20 years of being in the Coast Guard, like people think that the water is like this Wild West that it's like Vegas, right? Like nobody will fucking know, right? So they do dumb shit because they think it doesn't affect anybody ever, right? Like we were exiting the Golden Gate Bridge, and we had a dude jump from the Golden Gate Bridge, and he fucking landed, and I still have a scar on my lip where I had his bone came up and slit me on the side of my lip right here. And I have a scar of when he committed suicide, and it fucking cut me. I'm like bleeding from my lip, and we're still trying to contain him, but he hit so hard, he dented the back of our boat. It was just fucking, well, his front portion, his basically shoulders up, dude. But people do this shit all the time. Like I remember when I worked search and rescue at the at Sector Delaware Bay, which covers the entire New Jersey coast and the whole Delaware River, right?
Okay.
And when I got there, they're like, you're going to be super busy during the summer and the dead of winter. And I understood the summer, right? Because Jersey
Goddamn
summer.
saying right after
Drinking,
every
partying.
motherfucking thing. I swear to God.
Well, I'm drunk. Shut up. So I remember covering all that, right? And I could see that in my head, but I couldn't figure out the winter. So once we'd get to like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, until 2 weeks after New Year's, we were averaging probably like 15 to 20 jumpers across the whole Delaware River. And they think it doesn't affect anybody. And it obviously affects their families, which is super sad. Nobody should, let's be clear about this. Nobody should, take this measure. But we have to search for them.
More than you. Yeah.
Right. But we have to search for them for like 12 hours at a time. We're talking about
resources. That's the first thought I had is like when we called 911, like all these people showed up, life flight, all this stuff. And it's like, dude, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot that moves into that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was like, I don't miss that portion of my job at all.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think you're like that's something that was interesting. Is after that experience, my tournament partner and I were like, kind of like, holy cow! Like, did a little research, and it's like fairly commonplace, man. The water is
Yeah.
like a fairly commonplace. It was like 5:30 in the morning, right? Like we had just started fishing the tournament, and next thing you know, I hear a gunshot, and it's like, what was that? Run up the hill, and that's what we saw.
And people
Oh, see,
think
if you fish down here in the south and you hear a gunshot at 5:30 in the morning, like ain't nobody around here going, "Oh, let me go check that shit
no.
out." You're like, "Nah, that's probably one
Right.
of 100. Hey, in a
Right.
3-hour session, would you rather catch 3 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
Pause. Thanks, Paul. That was
Oh.
a solid segue from the other stuff. Solid.
Spell segue.
One 7-pounder all day long.
There we go.
My
I knew
man.
that was the answer.
My man.
Thank you. Alex is my
Um,
man to everybody who answers that question, regardless if it's the 7-pounder or 2-pounder. He's
do.
always like my
I
man.
do. My man.
He's like, you like catching fish, my man.
I like catching fish.
Yeah.
Is that all the main ones, Paul? Speaking of eating food, we're gonna go back to eating food.
Yeah, next 3 are eating food.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
there we go. Big food guy.
You're a big food guy?
Oh yeah, man.
Well, sweet. Do
Solid.
you eat largemouth bass?
Do I eat largemouth bass?
Yeah.
I have eaten largemouth.
No,
bass.
do
Okay.
you eat it? Will you go catch one this weekend and fry that bitch up?
I won't.
Okay.
That's sad.
Yeah, well, listen, I have filleted some smallmouth over the last year.
Oh, that's the
And,
that's the
shit, you're
forbidden.
about to get
That's the
canceled,
forbidden
and
fillet.
I
We're
love
about
it.
to get canceled.
If-
And this lake that they have a problem with growing, so I got sick of it. And the limit's 12 inches. And literally after a tournament, we had a bunch of 12 to 14 inchers, and I was like, man, I'm taking these bitches
Mhm.
home. We're
Hey,
so-
Perfect.
that's a problem with a bunch of our fisheries is motherfuckers ain't eating enough bass. Large mouth, small mouth, spots. They ain't eating enough. We got to eat more fishes.
I'm pond management is a thing. Like you see it on people who have small acre lakes in Texas. Like they figure out that they eat the 1 to 3 pounders, and the next thing you know, there's 7, 9s, and 12s that show up.
Well, speaking of fatties, do you eat beaver?
Do I eat what now?
Beaver.
Beaver.
Yeah.
Are we which beaver are we talking about?
I don't know what
What's-
you're.
What do you mean?
What
What
do
am
you
I
mean?
insinuating to? There's 2 types of beaver out there.
What do you mean? Which ones?
Bitch, I've been in wildlife my whole life. I ain't been one goddamn beaver I know about. What's the other one?
Well, one is an animal,
Okay.
and one is on a woman.
Oh, I don't. That's
Well, that's a fucking
that's
first
new.
for me.
That's
Yeah.
news. Okay.
Is
All
that
right.
like a hairy nipple or
There's
something?
one I'll eat now. No, it's not a hairy nipple.
Is it a hairy underarm?
I think this is one of those trap questions, and I don't know how to answer it. This is a very
I
much.
mean, we asked a simple ass fuck question: do you eat beaver?
I'm just gonna answer with a yes then.
Okay.
How do you prepare it?
Oh boy, here we go. Nope, not gonna answer that. I'm gonna sound like a pedophile from Idaho.
Hey, next time you're down here in the Carolinas, give me a heads up, and I'll get us a beaver, and we'll barbecue it
Dude,
up.
you
and
talked
can eat
about
some good
meat
beaver.
eater, right? Meat eater. There's a proper way to prepare the tail.
Right.
The
I
tail's
think
not
you
the
were
best
talking
part of
about
the
something
beaver,
different.
though.
Yeah. What's the best part, Paul?
Well, I mean, like the whole beaver,
Yeah, I got
just long and slow, is so juicy and moist,
I'm
it's
with
like
ya.
a pig.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Barbecue it up.
Yeah,
Make it
dude.
barbecue, pulled
I'm
pork,
with you.
except it's pulled
Barbecue
beaver.
beaver. What kind of sauces do you like on your beaver?
Well, I mean, I make my own homemade sauce that I use. It's more of a little bit of a tomato sauce with some vinegar in it. I make it. It's good all around good sauce. But if you do your beaver right, you don't need sauce.
That's okay, Adam. That's the best response to that question. Is how do you prepare your sauce? Oh. All right. We've had a lot of fun. It's been a good time, Adam.
I appreciate you guys.
Well, we're not done yet. We have one more question. If you thought these were rough, this is going to be the roughest one. This is the one that is going to put you in the Hall of Fame or not. Every great angler loves a sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Proteins. Okay. So, man, as far as sandwiches go, top 3. Man, I'm a turkey guy. That's
My
certainly
man.
one.
Mhm.
I'm certainly a turkey when it comes to protein on a sandwich. Man, after that, I'm mostly a turkey guy. I would say one that I haven't had in a long time. It's got me thinking about it. It sounds good right now. Is a pastrami sandwich. I haven't had
Mhm.
Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
a long time. Like some nice peppered beef. That sounds pretty good. Then last, and we're talking like meat proteins, right?
No, we're talking about
Protein. You just
proteins.
answered the question. Just answer
Dude,
the
I
question.
mean a PB and J is hard to beat.
Okay. Okay.
There's nothing
Perfect.
wrong with
Bitch, I thought
PB&J.
this motherfucker was about
I
to say
thought he
fucking
was too.
spinach.
I
I really
thought he
thought
was
to
too.
fucking
Oh,
swear
you
God you were
didn't.
about to say
I was gonna say
spinach.
either ham it if we were just talking protein.
Ham's fine.
Ham. But then I was like, man, you gotta have something sweet in there if we've got two already saved.
So
Okay.
just so you know, Bailey said spinach.
That's where this came from.
Yes, he
So-
said motherfucking spinach. That's how you get
That's
those
something
thighs.
like, is that like Popeye Thunder thighs? Is that how
I
that
think
shit
so.
happens? Like that's ridiculous.
Dude, Wolf of Walmart, if you're still listening, we need Bailey Egbert as Popeye with thunder thighs and a can of
It's just
spinach.
thighs
Yeah.
popping out on a
Yep.
can.
Yep.
The new Serious Angler spinach line.
Hey, but Bailey overtook cheese. We had somebody before Bailey say
Yeah,
cheese.
somebody said cheese.
Delirious Angler said cheese.
Yep.
Bailey said spinach, and we
Yep.
ran with that fucking shit for like
Over
a
a
year and a
year.
half.
Yeah.
That's
I
ridiculous.
mean,
That's not a protein.
until about like a month and a half ago,
Yep.
our buddy Zach, aka Zeche from Dark Horse Tackle, said
Yep.
beans.
I've had
He
them on
said
the show.
he said
Yeah,
black
he said beans. Like fucking
Beans in a sandwich? Like
Yeah.
not a burrito. Like, we're
No.
talking like
he
You
didn't
put
say
these
he didn't
three-
say he didn't say a bean patty, a bean
Nope.
burger.
He
He just
said
said fucking
beans.
beans. Like he dumps a can of fucking.
slapping some beans on some bread.
Yeah.
Good God.
I still have
And
to
then he
make
tried
that
to blame
video.
it on his celiac disease or something.
Yeah,
and
fuck
I'm like,
Kinda
bitch,
back out of it.
Celiac. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. We're still gonna
Beans.
make a video where me and Paul are gonna eat bean sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
So you had
All
the Dark
right,
Horse
Adam.
Tackle guys on?
Oh yeah, dude. Good.
Oh,
dudes.
sweet.
I'm good.
Those guys are a hoot.
awesome.
They're nice, but Paul has an issue because they don't text him enough. Paul's been real needy lately.
So if you guys are listening,
Yeah, no.
Oh, they're
honestly.
listening. Zach's
So-
definitely listening.
So honestly, if anybody's listening, so Paul said today, Paul, what did you say?
I don't know,
Paul-
bitches.
Paul said at 4:42 p.m. today, he said, "I thought we were friends." Out of nowhere.
to them, you're saying.
Yep.
We have
Yep.
a group text with them.
And Zeke said, "What happened?" And Paul said, "You quit texting me. I know we're just small peanuts. The rich folks drop on the floor and don't care about, but I love you both." So Paul's like that really hot girl in high school who kept going like, "I'm fat. I'm fat. Don't look at me." Yeah, that's Paul.
But everyone looks right.
Everybody looks. Yeah, exactly.
Can't turn away from the jabber hammer.
Mm.
Oh,
All right, Adam, hang out for a minute in the green room. We're not going to do that fancy ending where we do some shit where we ended abruptly.